3 item spike for both of these carries, it's going to get difficult for Akuma to be able to navigate these team fights due to the damage output that's going to come from these ranged carries.
Yeah, and I think also importantly, and you noted on that, it's the range advantage that you will have with those carries can be really impactful. And I think the Braum here can play a really huge role as well, because if you can deny not only the damage from the Saya, but also the damage from the Irelia trying to dive in with her stun and everything and all of those things, then you can get so much value with the Ezreal and the Corki, and that can be the main win condition with for TAS into the later stage of the game. I still feel like AKM has a composition that can also be piloted in the later stage of the game. You have a carry in the Saya that does deal a lot of damage later on, and Irelia doesn't fall behind or fall down in terms of scaling as she was previously. I feel like with the changes that she received when she came back into the meta, she came back into a point where she's good at mid game and she can be good late game as well with scaling wise. But overall, I agree. TAS has a much better scaling with the double AD carry and the 2 tank frontline that they have. The only thing that worries me is the least, but if they can pilot that, I think they should have a good enough composition to play in the late game. But I think Akuma can pull it off. They also have a lot of team fight tools that can be really impactful. And if you are able to control or get on top of the Corki and the Ezreal, and if you can delete them, realistically, there shouldn't be anything that TAS can do to win fights.
Yeah. It all comes down to the execution for both the teams here. Akuma needs to fully dive into the side of TA. The disengage tools for TA are very limited, but if they play the team fights properly in the early game properly and are able to get these lanes snowballing, their damage will be able to, take over fights. With that being said, we are going to cut it to a quick break. Do not click those browsers. We'll be back here for game 1 of this best of 3 series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aegis Protectors League. It's playoffs time. We've got Team Ambition, Heart and Soul taking on Akuma Shurikens here. We got a little toad on the screen here, chilling in the rift, waiting for the match to start. But I'm excited.
Waiting
Are
to
you
run
excited,
away.
TDS?
Welcome
Yeah,
to
the poor frog that is
Summer's
going to run
Rift.
away because they're going to invade his home, his or her home, their home. That yeah, poor frog. But yeah, I'm excited. This game should be interesting. It
30
should have a lot
seconds
of
until
action,
minions
and a
spawn.
lot of the champions here do have the outplay potential, so it should be interesting to see. But the start of the game pretty normal, just a 5.2. Check nothing random going on, no shenanigans. This is playoffs, so it makes sense that teams are a little more reserved in terms of what they try to do in the level one.
Yeah, it's do or die time, right? If they lose this best of 3, they are eliminated. So they don't want to go for anything too risky. We did see both junglers able to
Minions
get
have
that first
spawned.
ward dropped back for that sweeper. Pretty standard stuff. But I think a lot of this early game is going to be revolving around this Elise here for the side of Team Ambition and what she can really successfully pull off. We see her starting on the top side, so maybe looking to pat down or early gank the top side, but we'll see what happens here.
Elise has one of those patterns. Elise has one of those patterns where you can go for the clear on top and then rush rapidly to go gank on the other side of the map, or clear 2 camps on top side or 1 camp on top side and go for a cheesy gang on top lane. Like the Jarvan 4, because of your ganking potential with your E, you can go for those plays. So it should be interesting to keep up with Elise, but I don't think she's going to go for a really early gank unless one of the lanes seems to be in a good position to go for one of those.
Yeah, it looks like the bot lane of Team Ambition actually showed there early. They pulled the wave out to try to deny some XP from the opposition, and we instantly saw the pings coming out from Akuma saying that Elise is either at their red or at their blue, so they should now have some sort of an idea of what side of the map she's on. And as I do say that, we do see some aggressive trading coming out from Akuma's bot lane.
Yeah, they want to keep up the push. They want to keep up the trading, but don't want to over push, because I think that this is a really good state. If they know the positioning from the least, they can now keep the wave in a position where it's close to impossible to gank. The only way would be a dive, And if they have to force a dive really early on, can be detrimental for the side of TAS if they end up messing up. So I really like how Akim has the weight position in the bot lane. On the mid lane, the push should be in favor of the Corki, but it's much more contested like that. And on the top lane, the only lane that can realistically you think that the Kennen has the push is where your Mundo is. So it shouldn't be that risky to have. So overall, AKM starting the game, really nice positioning of the waves and of the map. Try and control and be wary of the lease.
Yeah, we see the Mundo here for the side of Akuma walk into that blue side jungle of Team Ambition, but potentially a gank coming here in the mid lane. Elise is in this brush, but it might be snipped out here by Zendef. He is going to go get that wave shoved and start recalling here. I think it's really interesting that um, the lanes of Team Ambition kind of want to just sit back and scale, but the jungler of Team Ambition wants to get this snowball going for
Yeah.
herself. So it's different playstyles, but because the side of Team Ambition wants to play back in their lanes and just soak up creeps and experience, it kind of opens the window for the Elise to do some stuff. So I could see how it works, but if Elise doesn't get anything going here, she's essentially going to be useless this game. So
Yeah, like there's a world where you get an early advantage, and these scaling champions get much more valuable because they will scale with gold and XP. So you would think that it makes sense with Elise, and to some degree it can work. This gank is going to be failed miserably because of the vision, but realistically, this is why you see most times the Elise paired up with a nerdy action laner in some lanes. Oh, wait,
who
good.
does
Good.
land, and they're going to engage here onto Zendef here. Ignite is
Yeah,
going to be
I think
burned. Flawless Duet does not land. Repel actually dodges this out. But First Blood is going to be going over to the Corki here for the side of Team Ambition, and really successful gank coming out here from Elise.
Yeah, and this is what we needed to see with the Lees. Getting early advantages for the Corki can be really good, especially because you don't know what you can do later on. So it's going to be really important that you get this kill. They ended up getting the kill, and it went to the Corki. So it's even better. You force the teleport out of the Irelia. She doesn't have flash, so gank again can happen in the near future, and I think that's a really important point for the Lees. One of the things that I wanted to mention previously before the kill and the gank actually happened was that for Elise to work most of the time, you see her with a champion that had a really good laning phase, that had power and CC to some instances, like the Renekton, because it's really easy to secure kills that way. But if you're able to pull off a gank this early on against Irelia that was so overstaying in the lane, and you can fed the Corki, it's the word that we were talking about, can be really good for your team and can put you into a spot where getting to the late game can be much quicker.
Yeah, TDS, just like you mentioned, that kill going to Corki is huge. He's going to be able to go back here, spend some of this gold that he gained with that First Blood, and start moving towards those item spikes that he wants to get. If he's able to get going here, get this, I'm assuming he's going to be going Sunder, don't quote me on that, get this Sunder completed to get his tier stacked. He's going to become a powerhouse in the late game, so it's really good that that kill does go over to the Corki, but we see some more potential shenanigans coming out from Spoozy. He does spot the ward there with the sweeper. Looks for the gank, but 9Clan's just going to be able to use that lightning rush to get out. But here comes Coffee. He's in the top side of the map here in the jungle. Pink ward does come out. Slicing Maelstrom does come out as well. Repel's going to be used. TP is going to be burned here from the Corki. He's trying to come to the top side to help his team out. It's going to be canceled. Flawless Duet in the mid lane to get canceled by Zendef here. And see the little thumbs up coming out, and that TP is going to be expanded.
Not gonna lie, I don't like that much because I feel like you just disengage the play, and then on the top side you just disengage the play, let the tower come through, and that way you can even maybe secure the push because of the minion not dying there, and you can at least get something there. And in the mid lane, if the Aurelia doesn't stop the teleport, you can crash the wave, get a plate or something like that. But if they go for a play here, maybe it can be possible.
Spoozy here, Flawless Duet does not land, but the slow does, and he's going to use that Vanguard's Edge to go in. But the Hell comes out from Elise, and here comes Newbie. He does have the eat, he does get the eat onto Irelia, he throws him under tower, but not enough damage. This Welch comes out, the knock flash into the cocoon, the CC layer comes out, and Team Ambition's able to pick up another kill. That cleaver does land from Coffee. Spoozy needs to be careful and get out here, but looks like the side of Team Ambition is just going to defend their blue buff, and Akuma's just going to run away here towards their jungle.
Yeah, they had low health bars, so it makes sense that TS doesn't want to overcommit. But the Irelia going way too far forward, trying to get a kill. Oh wait, bot lane?
Bot lane, we see it engage coming out from the bot lane of Team Ambition. They're unable to get that the last two autos to proc that Braum passive onto SWBF here on the Xayah, but they're able to get that heal, which is very important, and hopefully, Elise is going to be able to punish that here.
Yeah, but it's mainly. But if you look at the Ezreal and the Braum controlling a lot the bottom lane, they have a CS advantage. They are able to keep up the push. The Ezreal has a call, so it's not like even though the Lease hasn't interacted much with the bot lane, and I expected this bot lane to be a little bit more favorable for the Saya Rakan. It has been going completely in the control of the Ezreal Braum, and they have been doing a really good job to keep up the lane. And also, quick thing on the top side, look at the CS difference between the Tahm Kench and the Kennen. It's 13 in favor of the Tahm Kench in a matchup that the Kennen should be able to pressure, and it's kind of surprising to see, but really well done by Nubili to not to have this kind of advantage in a matchup that could be really bad for them.
Yeah, Nubly is kind of that tank player for the side of Team Ambition, right? They like to play this control scaling with the front line for their carries. So he tends to play these beefier champions like, you know, the Tahm Kench that he's on, the Shen, the Gnar, something that can kind of frontline for his team. So he's very comfortable right now on this Tahm Kench, and we saw from that play, right? That gank in the top lane from from Akuma, excuse me. He was able to disengage the Irelia there. Ooh, the two-shot barrage almost picks up that kill, but not enough damage behind it just yet. But what I was saying, he was able to land that Abyssal Voyage, and they were able to chain that CC, and able to pick up that kill for themselves. And it looks like potential Dragon Strat's going to come out of Team Ambition.
Yeah, they have a push on the bottom lane. They know that the Saya should have backed because the lane is now being secured by the right hand. The Corki, yes, he did back, but he has package, so realistically he should be able to come back really soon. And they also have teleport from the Tahm Kench. So it's not like, sorry for that, it's not like it's impossible for them to be able to respawn in case the side of a game wants to go for something, but realistically there shouldn't be any chance. They secured this Drake really well done, really early Drake. It's also going to be the next Drake, Cloud Drake, which means that the Soul can be really good, and Mundo going for the correct play, but Corki kind of sniffing it out or trying to go for a play with the package.
Package is going to start DPSing
that
down
is a lot of
Coffee.
damage.
Package is going to be used. The damage is there. They're going to pick up this kill. Yeah, Corki picks up the kill onto Coffee.
And that's
on the
Herald
middle
as
here.
well.
And this Herald should be secured. It's stolen away by Spoozy, and they get both of the neutral objectives on the map here at 10 minutes.
Wow, an early game, and this is really important for the early game because realistically, the Least needed to have the early game lead, and I said that by 15 minutes she should have at least 3,000 gold.
In the bot lane here, we see Nubly come in. They're going to go for a play here. The last auto comes out.
No
onto
heal.
the Xayah. Xayah's going to be going down. The kill's going to be donated over to Villains and Glasses. We see the Abyssal Voyage come out, and here comes Spoozy. He lands another cocoon. The CC chain comes over the top, and Sussy Baka is going to be going down. Kill picked up by Daddy Zillion here, and that's 5-0 on the map for Team Ambition.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I was talking about how they needed to have the Least needed to have a 3,000 gold lead by 15 minutes. If not, she can fall really far behind. But realistically, and this is something that I didn't count on, was if you give a lead to the carries that will carry in the late game, like the Corki or the Ezreal, then realistically the Least doesn't need to have that gold lead, as long as your carries are in a really good spot. But they are getting that gold lead. It's close to 3,000 gold lead. With this turret, it's going to be 2,500, I think. And it's slowly but surely, or not as slowly, but getting higher.
Yeah, we see the quickness burned by Susibaka here. He's going to engage, and maybe some kills going to be picked up by Akuma, but the disengage comes out, and they're going to pick up a kill back. No, the heal is going to be burned by the Xayah to keep the Rakan alive. We see the ultimate come in.
Oh, she failed!
Doesn't land onto anybody. She misses the flash, and she gets punished for it. Another kill being picked up by Villain and Glasses here on the Ezreal, and tragedy for Akuma here in the bot lane.
Yeah, a play that seemed like maybe it could have been great for Akuma ends up going horribly wrong. They lose the kill, they lose the Xayah. Maybe they will lose the turret with the Irelia roaming down. Maybe they are dissuaded for going for the turret, but just still going everything in favor of TAS.
On the top lane, Nubly's gonna eat up Ninecline. Slicing Maelstrom's gonna be
Oh,
used.
he
He
got
comes
it!
out. He gets the soul kill, but Irelia is gonna show up in the top lane here. Nubly doesn't want anything to do with it. He's just gonna walk away, and so far it's just been all Team Ambition. Flawless execution across the entire map.
Yeah, if we look one place and they are winning there. Then we look to the other side of the map and they are winning there. This shouldn't be how the early game should have gone. So in favor of TAS, but AKM just doesn't seem to have any correct answers for anything that TAS is trying to go for right now. Like, realistically, even though I didn't like the Least pick, this is what she had to do, and it was pretty clear and straightforward that she had to go for early ganks and things like that. But bot lane realistically never had any impact for the Least until the Herald came down, or the Drake. They never had a gank, and they won the lane alone by their own merits and their own advantage. On the top lane, yes, the Least ganked, but the Tahm Kench got the CS lead by him and controlled the wave really well, never died, never was forced into a bad position. And on the mid lane, the Corki was safe enough so that you could bait the Irelia and then get the kill ready early on. So overall, it's just TAS playing this game so well, using their advantages and knowing when they were at a disadvantage to not force anything. Oh wait, that is
Gonna
again
engage
maybe
onto Daddy Zillion here. They miss both the Grand Entrance and the Flawless Duet, but looks like maybe
flanking
uh,
Ezreal.
Dylan and Glasses might be caught out. He does not have Arcane Shift available.
Oh,
It
he's
does not
dead.
have Flash. Yeah, he's going to be going down. Shutdown going to be donated over to Zendef on this Irelia here for Akuma. And Akuma's finally able to get something back for themselves. Maybe more. We see the cleavers coming out from Coffee. Stand beside me. Going to be used by Daddy Zillion on the Braum to disengage this. And it's just one kill on the map.
Yeah, it's a kill on one of the most important members though. The Ezreal dying there, it's one, I think a little bit of a shutdown at this point, so it's not a bad thing to collect. Oh wait,
Yeah, more cleavers coming out, and looks like they're just kind of posturing for some vision here, the side of Akuma. Will Coffee get punished? There's a lot of damage behind this from the Corki, but Coffee on this moon is a pretty beefy guy. He already has his mythic completed, the Frostfire there. He's going to be able to walk away from that and go into his jungle here. But we see the two-shot barrage over the top of the Zendef. They tag him. Braum Ultimate's going to be used, but it's going to be flashed away by the Irelia.
what a flash!
Yeah, really
It's
good flash.
Yeah, it's important, and it's important that they get it because it's 30 seconds for Drake, which means that now you're losing the flash on the Irelia. She doesn't have teleport either, so if they back here, it can mean that they are probably going to give up the dragon if they are not in a good position. And AKM and TAS are positioning themselves to be able to secure this dragon, clearing the vision and trying to put pressure.
Yeah, Corki TP's into the bot lane here with package, I believe. So the pressure just goes up immensely here, and the control goes up immensely for Team Ambition. But it looks like you mentioned, Akuma might want this fight. They're sitting here in the wing. Spoozy might
Kennen
be
is
caught
coming
out.
with Irelia.
Yeah, beautiful cocoon to stop the quickness.
Oh, the flash!
Package is going to be used to disengage that. They're going to try DPS down Slushy Bakaru, but he's able to disengage. Repel is going to be used, but he's going to come down, and Coffee's going to be able to pick up that kill. And another kill being picked up by Akuma. He's going to try to chase down the Corki here, Coffee is, but not enough damage behind those cleavers. And this dragon should probably be going over to Akuma here. Doesn't actually, I don't think anybody can take the dragon right now. Both teams are in trouble, and all the skill shots ring true there. Nubi's able to pick up that kill with a tongue lash, and this wedge lands. He predicts the movement. Is he going to be able to land that? Blade Collar is going to be used. Lands the snare. He flashes more with a tongue slap. He picks it up. Slicing Maelstrom is going to be used here by Ninefine to try to disengage this. Flawless Duet does not land. Only lands onto Nubia. Actually, we see the Abyssal Void is going to be used by Nubia here. They're going to try to DPS down. Zendef's going to go for the hero play, but he's unable to get it. Exhaust used. Not exhaust. Excuse me. Yeah, exhaust used immediately by Daddy Zillion there to negate the burst coming out, and that's another dragon being picked up by Team Ambition.
Yeah, and I'm surprised it went that way, especially after what happened with the Elise. First of all, let's talk about the pick on the Elise. Really nice pick by AKM. The Elise was alone, the warding without the support from the Braum, and when we saw the play, it was just Corki going for the help and Braum coming from really far away, so there was no realistic way that the Elise could survive, especially at the position she was. Really nice cocoon to deny the engage, but it didn't matter at the end, so they were able to collapse on her and get the kill, and then they could disengage and go for the dragon. But this is where things turned kind of bizarre for AKM. They went to push the bottom lane instead of trying to force the dragon. With all members there, I think you have to go for the dragon. Without the Elise, you can force the side of TAS to kind of face check, and with the Irelia cannon there, you probably can destroy the AD carries, but it didn't happen at all.
Gage here. Gage comes out from Akuma and looks like they're actually going to be flash forward. The auto does not come out.
He got it.
Glasses. He almost gets that last auto onto Zaya there to pick up that kill, but not enough damage, and package is not available. We see the Valkyrie going to be used. Corki looking for some damage, not enough. It looks like it's going to be a disengage, and probably this mid tower drops here. There's nobody to protect it here.
I would have liked them to go for the turret, but they are not going for the turret. It seems to won the Rift Herald, which an objective, it's up. I think you can take it. It's not completely necessary, especially without plate, but it's better to have than not to have. So I'm okay with them taking this. But on that mid lane play, it was really close for the Saya to go down. It was really down to the wire, but the Ezreal didn't have the Arcane Shape out attack. He flashed in to get the out attack, but with the Arcane Shape out attack, you probably get the kill. He didn't have that, and that's why the Saya was able to survive and ran away.
Yeah, Saya was able to get away with her life there, but we see it's Team Ambition on Team Ambition's in control on every lane on the map right now. They get that mid tier one, they get that top tier one. Herald's used. on the top side of the map here. Recalling, they're going to start hitting these item spikes where they're going to be able to balloon this gold lead here, hopefully for themselves, and try to end the game. But at the same time, what does Akuma need to start looking for here, TDS, to slowly claw themselves back into the game?
It's one of the two things, and I think they have to start with this. They need to get picks. They need to get a good pick onto one of the squishy members, because yes, Elise is strong now because of the advantage that she has, but if you are able to get on top of her, she's easy to kill. We saw that before the dragon went down, so I think that's an option for the side of the game. Also, the Corki, the Ezreal, squishy champions that you can kill. Even the Braum, to a certain degree, are champions that if you are able to get with 3+ members on top of them, you should be able to kill them because you have a champions with a lot of damage, but it's going to be how AKM can get on top of them. Oh,
Daddy Zillion is caught out here with
yeah,
the grand
Beavers.
entrance. Landed, does not ring true.
Oh.
The stand beside me is going to be used by Daddy Zillion on the Braum to get out. We see Villain Arcane shift forward, and Akuma Coffee pops that Mundo up to get that movement speed and that HP regen for himself. I do want to point out, I think Villain has been playing superb, and I think it warrants that first pick, Ezreal on blue side, right? We were kind of questioning it a little bit in draft, taking a pick that's not too prio heavy amongst both teams, but he's performing on it, so more power to him.
Yeah, if you're able to play around it, it makes sense that there's so much focus on it, and he has been certainly showing it. Apart from that small blunder when he died inside of the enemy jungle, because why not? He has been playing really well, getting the poke down, and even going aggressive when he needs to. I think that one of the one thing that shows a good Ezreal play, or that you know how to play around Ezreal, is knowing when you can go really aggressive and knowing when you don't need to go for that. Using the arcane shift aggressively and not is a mark of a good Ezreal play. And I think that he has been showing that in most of the game, trying to play around the arcane shift, trying to go for the attacks, for the Qs to get as much damage as possible, and he has been doing a really well job. As long as he doesn't die overextending stupidly, then he, for me at least, he has been playing an amazing Ezreal right now.
It looks like, to us at least from the spectator perspective, that Team Ambition really knows what their win con is here. They know it's Infernal Soul, they know they're 2 dragons away from Soul. They're just setting up the vision in Akuma's blue side jungle and kind of just posturing around this dragon. Even if it's a minute early, they don't mind sacking some of the CS on the top side of the map.
Oh.
Flash Cocoon's going to be sidestepped here, and we see the Ezreal E forward, and Abyss of Lords does not ring true. We see the True Shot Barrage, and his ultimate's going to be burned by Xayah to try to stay safe, but now the HP bars on Akuma are really low, and this dragon is spawning here in 17 seconds. Package is also available. I don't know if they can contest this.
Yeah, 17, they have no control over not only the dragon area, but the bot side jungle area. Look at the ward vision that they have. There's no risk that AKM can go in without the side of TES knowing. And yeah, they have to give up this raid. Soul point really easily secured. And even though Stussy doesn't get any kill with the Flash Cocoon going forward, gets the possibility to secure this raid as easily as possible, and they secured it. With Infernal Soul, one of the great things about the Souls is being able to deny when you're really weak as a champion in the later stage of the game. So for example, champions like Renekton, champions like Elise, champions like there's another good example of this, but I can't get it off the top of my head. They get kind of a good advantage by the Soul, and their weaknesses get sidelined because of that. And now they're going for the weak Baron. They don't know about this.
Okay. That's a 20-minute Baron coming out.
Yeah. Ooh.
Flash comes out from Coffee, but not timing that smite well enough, and it looks like Ezreal's able to pick up that kill. And like I mentioned here at that 18-minute mark, the item spikes are going to be hitting for the side of Team Ambition. They're going to be able to start ballooning this gold lead. We see them recalling here. We see their 2 carries already on 2 items. Those Mana Munes already completed, tiers fully stacked. We even see Ezreal going for this defensive Glacial Shroud into the Frozen Heart build that has been popularized recently. So he's not going to really have any threat from this Irelia because he's ahead of the Irelia, and now he's going to have the defensive stats to deal with her. So I don't know how Akuma kills this Ezreal.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless he misplays heavily, it shouldn't really be an option for Akuma to destroy this Ezreal. And okay, wait, Corki? He's alone here.
Yeah, Corki's alone. He's going to get caught out. Quickness is going to be used. The Flawless Duet lands, but the ultimate does not ring true, but the shutdown's still going to be given over to Zendef, and that's the picks Akuma needs. I like to see the proactive play coming out from here.
Yeah, and it feels like at first, after everything that happened in the first 20 minutes of the game, it feels like they are finally trying to search for the plays much more aggressively than waiting for the side of TAS to commit a mistake and then capitalizing on it. I think that with how far behind they are, oh wait, yeah, Ken was able
Once
to
he
run away.
used that Protovel to get to safety there.
At least he
Potential
didn't have
team
to use
fight
flash.
coming out. This
Oh.
avoid is going to be used here by Noobly. He's just getting DPS down a little bit, but he actually burns the flash there. I don't think he's using any immediate danger, but he thought so. So he flashes away. But on the other side of the map, Zendef is split pushing, and there's nobody here to respond to him.
Yeah, it's still a good win for Akuma being able to put the pressure on the sideline. They are losing now the top lane turret, which is a good answer by TAS, but at least Akuma are showing signs of life, which I think it's really important because they are so far behind in this game. And one of the things that we were mentioning about previously with the plays that Akuma were going for and the things that they wanted to try and do, because of how the early game went, so against Akuma, the power spikes from the side of TAS were just so earlier than you actually expect them to be, that some things you have to be much more careful about, like the Drake capture, like securing vision, because you can get those champions that take much more time to scale now have much more the access to the items that they needed, and they can scale much more easily and deal damage much more easily.
Yeah, they're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Risky pathing coming out from Team
We don't
Ambition.
care.
It just shows how far ahead they are. They can take that path and they won't get punished for it. They're just kind of
Corki's not even
sieging here.
here.
Yeah, Corki's not even here. They're just literally sieging off Ezreal Qs and Cocoons. That's what they're using here to siege. And obviously they're Baron. But the Qs are ringing true and they're doing a lot of damage. Oh my god, the WQ comes out from Villain and he's almost one-shots the Desire there. The ultimate doesn't land. But I'm pretty sure if it was going to land, they would be able to dodge that away with the ultimate. But this is good for Team Ambition. They just want to wait out the clock, wait for this fourth dragon, and once they get that, the game's pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, with the lead that they have, with the champions that they have, realistically, it should be game over with that. So, and I think AKM kind of knows that and thinks about trying to fight. They are hitting important power spikes. Second item on Irelia already completed. I'm not sure how far away she is, but Saya should be close to her second item. Same with the Kennen. So if they are able to get to those points, then maybe they can win the fight that will happen in the Drake. But if not, it's completely game over because they not only it's a wave, a super minion wave up in the top lane, but they have so many good champions that can make so much use out of that Infernal Soul, and it should be really hard to be able to survive the damage that will come through. We already saw how much damage Ezreal was dealing with just a WQ combo. With Infernal Soul, it's going to be much worse.
Yeah, and I think Akuma kind of has to go for this fight. Like you said, they're hitting those item spikes on some of their champions.
Irelia is still topside though.
Yeah, she has that TP available. Dragon's still not up. She's just trying to get a little bit more gold to hopefully get a little bit more stats before this dragon spawns. But
quick thing. There's a good they're pinging it. There's a ping ward behind the members of Team Ambition Gold. This could be a really good opportunity for a flank for the Kennen and the Irelia if they try to capitalize on it.
Yeah. Vision. Oh my god. We see the double TP coming in from the side of Akuma on the backside here from both their solo laners. The grand entrance does not land for Saka.
He's dead.
Slicing Maelstrom comes over the top from Reinstein. He's going to be able to DPS down a lot of the members. The double click will be picked up from Noobly, and it looks like the carries on the side of Team Ambition are healthy. They're going to be going in, target selecting perfectly. It's going to be a clean ace for Team Ambition, Heart and Soul, and this Infernal Soul is theirs.
Yeah, and I think that's game. They can get the soul, but there are two members to ping already, and I think that's game. Really well played by Team Ambition Soul, and AKM had the correct idea. I really liked that the double teleport, they had the vision down. Nobody knew that they could come from there, but the fight started even before the double teleport comes through. We saw the Saya being half health at the start of it because of a two-shot barrage. And then with that, the follow-up from the Tankage was really good. They killed the Saya so easily, and then they move into winning the fight. That was how easy it was for TS to win that fight, and they were able to clean it up, get the soul, and get the win here. There's nothing stopping them. Oh, Saya dies at the end.
Yeah, with that two-shot barrage. And Team Ambition, Heart and Soul are able to pick up the first win here, put themselves on match point here. I really like the fact that that Spoozy didn't really mind not getting the kills. Spoozy on the Elise here. He gave it to his laners, let them get ahead, and then they did the rest. And if they're able to, have this recipe for the rest of the series, Akuma really needs to figure out how they want to, pivot and call an audible per se for their team comps, because what they're drafting is not going to work into what Team Ambition is playing.
Yeah, pretty much. They need to have a better answer for the side of Team Ambition Gold because they seem to not only did Team Ambition Gold had a really good plan with the Elise to be able to execute and get a really good advantage early on, but also the fact that they were able to win lanes. That like some lanes that they won realistically shouldn't have been won that easily, and they won them really convincingly, and that helped in the snowball being so good for the side of TAS and being able to reach the power spikes so much earlier than they should have. So I think that AKM has to either think of another way to win the game, either be it winning the bottom lane, having a winning lane in bottom lane, having a winning lane in mid lane, or having a much more action heavy jungler.
Yeah. With that being said, we are going to cut it to a quick break while we get into the next game here. We will be back to see if Team Ambition Heart and Soul are able to close out this series and advance to quarterfinals, or if Akuma Shurikens are going to put up a fight and force a game three. So don't go anywhere from your browsers, folks. All right, folks, welcome back to Aegis Protectors League. My name is Ivar. I'm joined by TDS. We have Team Ambition Heart and Soul taking on Akuma Shurikens. Akuma selected to take red side here for game two, TDS. What do you think they're going to change up? You think they're going to keep any of the bans? And just as I say that, they pivot towards that Tom Kench ban.
Yeah, wanting to have a little bit more of a say in the top lane, Time Kench is just such a good neutralizer, realistically. You can lose lane so gracefully that it doesn't matter later on, and he didn't lose lane that badly, so it certainly was an important factor, and his engages were really good. I gotta say that the engages that TAS had with the Time Kench, most of the time they hit a target, so they were really well executed, and it makes sense that they are banning it away. Now the lead as well, so really careful about the champions that were previously played, and I feel like AKM with this will try to want much more of a counter pick both in either soul lanes or in the jungle to have a better matchup overall and be able to play around it. But yeah,
Ziggs is up.
three
Ziggs is up.
champions banned away. Yeah, it had well. Who knows? Maybe they don't pick it, but I think that it has to be the logical pick. It's just such a good pick, and it enables so much from your team.
Yeah, and it's a takeaway from the bot lane of Akuma as well. But they're
Oh,
gonna opt for this Trundle flex that they have because I know their top lane and jungle both play it. Uh, I like it. I like it.
yeah, interesting adaptation, and it's also good. It can also be a good pick against the six because six is not the most of mobile champion. So getting a good pillar down against the six can just mean a good kill that you can easily achieve on the bot lane. And if you want priority, you can also go for the Ashe or the Varus as well that aren't completely awful champions yet, so they are still viable to play. Or even Caitlyn to get priority against the six. So overall, I don't think it's a bad idea to go for the Trundle, but it came going for the Galio first pick interesting. It's a still a flex. You can go both mid lane and or support. But now we need to see what they want as the second pick. If it's a jungle answer or if they want to go for the six.
Yeah. Um, I would be really surprised if we go through this draft and Ziggs is not picked or banned. Both ADCs have huge prio on that champion, and it fits a lot of the playstyle for both of the teams. But we see the J4 takeaway, indicating that Shurikens does not think that's a Trundle jungle.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, they were going. They also with the Galio Jarvan secure an easy to execute combo that a lot of things like just press Jarvan R, press Galio R, and you go in heavily. That can also be good against the six because it's such an easy combo to pull up. And if the six doesn't have flash, realistically, she should die in that combo. So it's a good measure in case six is picked. But now TAS have to take a decision because if they don't pick the six with the combo that AKM have, the six can be really dangerous.
Yeah. I will also say, Ziggs with Trundle in the bot lane is really, really impressive. That pillar max that can come out from Trundle pretty much ensures that your bombs will land. But with this thresh hover, it's kind of indicating that that's not going to be happening here.
Yeah, it's pretty much to make the AD carry be as safely as possible, and it makes complete sense. You know what you're going to be going against with the Jarvan and Galio, so having that extra safety measure, it's a good idea. And the Thresh being in the first game, it was banned away, so now that it's open up, TAS has a lot of templates are open up. They have a lot of options this game to try and play around even more comfortable than they did in the previous game.
Not only that, the Thresh is superb against Jarvan.
Yeah.
He's able to play that flag and drag engage that the King of Demacia there loves to use on his ganks. And if it's executed
Kaisa.
properly, kind of nullifies his engagement. We see the Kaisa lock in, and it looks like no Ziggs. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe they ban it away here. The thing is, six now with the Thresh, if you don't ban away the six, the bot lane can be Thresh six. And you have such a safety measure with the Thresh that it shouldn't be that hard. And also with the Corki, you have double carries, which means that even if the six dies later on, you have the insurance from the Corki to be able to carry the team fight as well. So it's not like TS doesn't have any insurance policies with this composition. So six wouldn't be a bad idea. And also against the Kaisa, it's not a matchup that it's that horrible for him either. So overall, I think the six can still go in this composition if it's not banned away, and it seems like neither wants to ban it away. Also, a quick thing that I want to mention: Jarvan can still also go towards support position. It doesn't. The Galio probably it's mid or support, one of the two, but Jarvan can go support or jungle as well, or even top lane. So it's not certain yet where the two champions will go, apart from the Kaisa.
Yeah, and it looks like the side of TAS opt to ban away top laners. They ban away this Volibear, this set. The side of Akuma takes away the Aphelios, one of those tried and true lanes, the Aphelios Thresh. They take it away from
Oh
Team
no!
Ambition. We see it, Ari hover, and it's
Oh
locked in.
no! I love Ari, and I think I've mentioned it previously. I love the champion. I love Ari so much. I want people to play her, but at the same time, don't play her. She's not a good champion currently. Really, she's really situational in terms of what matchup she can win. I think against the Corki is not the most horrendous matchup, but if she is not ahead, like the difference between Ari being ahead and Ari being behind are so huge, and it's so easy to be so far behind and useless, and it's so hard to be good and useful. So Ari just doesn't feel like that. They opt for the Jinx as TAS, so we're not going to see the six being picked at all in this game. But I like the six in this game, having two hyper carries, and the way that the game went previously, I think that having the Thresh Jinx potential to save the Jinx in case something bad goes on, and her damage potential is going to be really good. And closing it out with with the Sejuani, so it seems like it's going to be the Trundle top and the Sejuani jungle. I overall really like the composition from TAS. They have a lot of CC, safe carries, and a lot of good measures to try and keep the carries alive, which I think it's really important in this game to with the combo of the Galio Jarvan.
That control style that we've been talking about for Team Ambition,
Yeah,
Heart and Soul here. Their comp fits perfectly into that. They can control a lot of space with the pillar, Sejuani zoning, traps, the box, rockets coming out from Quirky. They control a lot of space in the team fights, and that's what they like to play. And on the
and
contrary, on the side of Akuma, they lock in the Gnar, and this is a combination that we saw a couple seasons ago, this Narvon comp, where Jarvan's able to, provide that wall in team fights for Gnar to use his ultimate into. It takes a lot of coordination and execution, but if it's able to be pulled off correctly, with the Galio ult over the top, it should just be a clean wipe in that specific team fight for Akuma.
Yep, if they are able to execute it well, then certainly. But this also falls into one of the positions that I'm really scared about with the Yari, and it's the fact that yes, realistically, with the composition that they have really four good champions that teamfight wise should be really good. But the Yari may lack damage, and that may be a really important thing that they will lack to try and burst out the champions because Jinx can go shield bow or gale force. So one of the two options can go there with the shields that may come through from the Thresh, as well as the extra resistances that other members may pull through. If you don't have enough damage to burst out the Jinx, that teamfight can just be completely dust. So
Yep.
I'm really scared about the fact that maybe the Ahri doesn't have enough damage to be able to provide to the teamfight prowess that AKM has drafted for themselves. And if that's the case, and you're missing the damage to be able to kill the Jinx or kill the Corki and be able to clean out those two important carries, then TAS has a really good turnaround fight, and the longer the fight goes on, the more easier it is for them to be able to destroy the members of AKM. So it's something to keep in mind and something I'm scared. But if AKM, like you're saying, are able to pull it off, they have such an easy to execute team fight composition that it shouldn't be impossible for them to take fights and win the game.
Yeah. I do want to touch on like both of these ADCs, the Kaisa and the Jinx, were touched in this patch here that came out today.
Yeah.
The early game for Jinx was buffed a little bit with the mana cost on her rockets being lowered. So her early game in lane and her lane presence will be more effective. And then on the contrary, Kaisa's late game got buffed a little bit with that evolved E attack speed buff that she got towards the later end
Yeah.
of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see if the early game buff towards Jinx or the late game buff towards Kaisa are going to be able to balance out each other. And because because Kai'Sa's always been known for her early game, and Jinx has always been known as that hyperscaler. But they're kind of like leveling out with these tweaks that Riot have put out today. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But I do also want to touch on the fact that Team Ambition's comp, they have to walk straight in. There's no like, uh, I mean, I guess there's package, but walking straight into an Ari, a Galio, and an Gnar in in controlled fights, there's a lot of
Can be really
opportunity
risky.
for the side of Akuma to punish them. So a lot of coordination execution will have to come out from both compositions here to win this game.
Yep, there's really good options for both of these teams. I feel like I wholeheartedly favor TAS if it reaches 30 plus minutes or 35 plus minutes, because I think Jinx it's a way better late game carry than Kai'Sa is, even with the buffs. The buffs are good, but I don't think are going to ever change the fact that Jinx is a way better hyper carry than the Kai'Sa is. Same with the Corki. I feel like late game is going to be much favorable for them, and that's why I favor TAS. But the game before 35 minutes, AKM has really good chances to be able to win the game. And like you're saying, if AKM has positioning in Dragon, in River, or in the jungle, and has vision control, if they have to face check AKM, it can be just so easy for AKM to just bulldoze the side of TAS and win a team fight. So it's going to be really interesting seeing which side are able to win pressure, win the control over the map, and how they utilize that pressure and control to try and take the team fights away from the enemy team.
Yeah. With that being said, we are going to cut it to a quick break here. Excuse me. We'll be back to see if Team Ambition, Heart and Soul are able to close out this series, or if Akuma Shurikens are able to force a game 3. So don't go anywhere, folks. All right, folks. Welcome back to game 2 here of Team Ambition, Heart and Soul taking on Akuma Shurikens. Team Ambition, Heart and Soul are game point, and Akuma Shurikens are looking to fight for their tournament life here. If they lose this game, they will be eliminated. My name is Ivar. I'm joined by TDS. We have a 5-point right now, TDS.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. We talked about this. The fact that it's now elimination. The side of Akuma doesn't want to force or mess anything out, so they don't want to go for any cheese at the start, because that can just mean that they will lose much more quickly. And TAS, same, I think, based on how they play and how controlled they are, they realistically don't need to go for these plays, because they just wait it out and let the game play out and try and play as best as they can, as they know.
Yeah, it really is going to come down to the execution in these team fights that from both teams. We did see that early ward drop by both junglers, like we saw in game 1, backing for that sweeper. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
But this time it seems like the junglers are going to be on opposite sides of the map of each other, like they were in game 1. Looks like the side of Kuma are going to be looking to path towards this bot lane, and the side of Team Ambition are going to look to path towards top.
Yeah, and it makes sense from the side of Akuma at least to try and go for the bottom lane, because the Kai'Sa Galio level 2 can be really impactful. Same with the level 3 and level 4. So if you're able to get on top of one of these champions, they can be killed really effectively in a gang. So I think the idea from Akuma to go with the Jarvan from buffs to buff
Maybe
and then
cheese?
to lane.
Are they gonna
Nah,
go for it? They're not.
kid.
They don't want to give up the creeps. They would have aggroed all 6 minions there and taken a little bit of minion damage. So they opt to just back up and
Look at the good side though.
yeah.
They made the Jinx lose 1 creep. So small victories.
Yeah. Small victories, small victories. I want to see the jungler of Akuma. I want to see Coffee here on this Jarvan to be more proactive than he was in game 1, right? Yeah, he wasn't on the right pick to get these early ganks off. He is now. He needs to start looking for these early ganks on this J4 and start to help his team secure an early game lead.
Yeah, but once like in the first game a little bit, although now with the Jarvan he has much more access. If the side of TAS can control the wave to be so close to the turret, it can be really hard to get the ganks down into the bottom lane, which means that he has to look into other places to try and go for the gank, and it can be really hard for them to be able to get anything. Yeah, this wave is in a it's not a super bad spot, because they can get something down with a flash knockup from the Jarvan or something from the Galio, but it's really hard to execute because of the proximity to the turret. So it can be really risky. But now they are letting the wave push, which at least it's a good sign for Akuma to try and get a gank down. On the top side though, now we will look into the Sejuani. Sejuani just farming normally. She's ahead in terms of farm to the Jarvan because she went for a full clear, now going for the Scuttlecraft. So tempo wise, she's in a good spot and it's able to try and go look for something either in the jungle from the Jarvan vision or try and go for a gank. With the way that the Nari is really far forward, they can try. The Sejuani will try and look forward for the spot.
Yeah. It
Can they
looks like
pull this
it's going to
off?
be a gank coming out here. Pillar is available. They're not going to use it yet. They're going to
Not
try to
yet.
trap 9 Clan.
Oh,
Pillar does
really
come out.
good
The
one.
passive does come out.
Oh.
And it's Uzi. First blood going over towards Nubly here on this Trundle on the top side of the map for Team Ambition.
Crisp execution. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
They did this so well. Like you were saying, the Sejuani went from behind, both came in, waiting till the last moment for the pillar, and then when they get the pillar down, they get the CC down enough so that nothing can happen and they can get the kill really easily. On the mid lane now, Sejuani waiting. Oh wait,
Engaging the bot side. We see the J4 going in the mid lane as well. Charm is going to be flashed away here by the side of Porky. And Engage is coming out. Coffee does get knocked up, and he's going to go down. TA Spoozy's going to pick up that kill. And the counter gank is successful for the side of Team Ambition, and they've got this lead again. Looks like the jungler is going to get charmed up. He's going to get a kill back. Ignite's going to be burned.
she didn't get it?
Doesn't land, and
Oh,
the
she
kill
got it.
does go over, yes. Zendef is going to be able to pick up that kill in the mid lane, get a trade kill back for himself, salvage that counter gank from Team Ambition, Heart and Soul.
Yeah, this is a little disappointing, especially no, but the gang was really well done. They waited for the Ahri to push the wave so that they could get a good spot. The Jarvan coming in, it was we were talking about this, the Jarvan trying to have much more action early on, and he went for a really good gang. I think like the idea wasn't that bad, and because if not for the Sejuani being in such a good position, the gang could probably getting a flash.
Engaging the bot side here. Traps are going to be placed to zone off the Kaisa.
Not
They're
that
going to
good.
try DPS down.
Oh.
Daddy Zillion, but he lands the hook, but we're going to go to the mid lane here. Zendef going for a solo kill here. He has the blue buff.
This is
The
solo
gank is
play.
here. The knockup does come out. He flashes to try to get the port pull back, but it's not in range. And the flash coming out from Villain to dodge the engage coming out from the Galio there, and it's just Team Ambition everywhere on the map again.
Yeah, like in the first game, it feels like they are doing everything perfectly. That fight in bot was forced by AKM at the start, if I'm not wrong. They tried to go for the play. The traps at the start from the Jinx messed in position and weren't that good, but they were able to continue the fight. The Susibaka wanted to go back in with the flash, get something down, but really good flash from the Jinx. Billion escaping, playing really well this Jinx again, like it is Israel, escaping the hit from the Galio and getting the kill done. Really well played by the bottom lane from TAS. And then on the mid lane, I gotta commend so heavily K, because the way that he played that fight between the Ahri was so perfect. Like, legitimately perfect. He played around the minions, which means that even though the Ahri can rush in, she cannot hit the charm easily. She's going to be playing around the minions, so the charm will hit the minions if you don't land it enough, and that bought enough time for the Sejuani to come in. The flash from the Ahri to try and outplay, but the Corki was able to move around that without that much risk, and then they get the kill. Overall, really well playing on the mid lane, really well playing on the bot lane, and TA is just showcasing the same that they did in the previous game. Oh, Spoozy?
And looks like the...
He should be dead. No
yeah,
flash.
looks like he's going to be caught out here, the Sejuani, and Shutdown's going to go over to the support. Not the most ideal person you want that gold going over to for the side of Akuma, but a kill is a kill nonetheless, and the jungler off the map here for 15 seconds is able to relieve some of that pressure from the side of Akuma.
Yeah, at least take a little bit of the disadvantage that was already created and could be way worse, but I still don't feel like this is enough for Akuma yet. Yes, you get a kill on the Sejuani. Yes, you're able to stop a little bit of the pressure, but we are facing close to the same issue that was in the previous game. And it's the fact that there's a lot of good scaling from the side of TAS, and you're not stopping them. Okay, maybe this play could be good, but...
Yeah, no, it looks
Nothing
like
much,
they
yeah.
want to deny this red buff from the side of Team Ambition, Heart and Soul here, but the rotations are coming out from the bot lane and the mid lane of Team Ambition, and they're able to dissuade that invade.
Yeah, and I like that TAS doesn't want to overcommit, because already the mistake from the Sejuani is a mistake that you shouldn't make, but it can happen. Okay,
Hook
now
launch from
moving
Daddy
forward.
Zillion. The traps do not
Oh.
arm in time again, but some pressure. Guardian's going to be procced. Engage coming out from Galio, not going to knock up. Nothing else is going to really come from that.
Yeah, they tried to go for a play. It looked like it could be something better, but like I'm saying, TAS doesn't need to overcommit. It doesn't need to force anything. You can make a mistake. Oh, okay, Corky almost get charm. You can make a mistake once and that's it, but try and not make it something that can happen consistently because, like I was saying previously, TAS has such a good composition for late game that realistically they are such a good spot. As long as they don't make heavy mistakes right now and they keep the pace from the game in the same place, they will get into the late game so easily and they will be able to perform like they did in the previous game.
Yeah, they're controlling the pace, just like you said, for this entire series thus far. Everything they want to do, they're doing, and Akuma's playing right into their hand. Akuma hasn't been able to get anything going for themselves. Every time they try to go for something, Team Ambition is there to stop it and make a play of their own.
Play?
So, in the bot lane, we see the knockup come out, play does come out. Is the taunt available? It was, but he decides not to go for it, and it looks like just a disengage is going to come out from Team Ambition there.
Yeah, and they knew they pushed it, they were able to push away. The side of AKM wanted to buy a lot more time, but I feel like if they want that play to be able to be successful, they need to keep the wave in a state that it's not much more beneficial for the side of TS. Because if they are able to push a wave, they realistically don't need to do anything because you cannot take the full front of the damage from the minions. So you have to kill them. But you cannot freeze them in that position either because the minions were coming. So the wave wasn't going to be in such a bad position that you can realistically freeze it and damage the side of TAS. So they need to play that better so that they can have the wave in a better positioning, bait the side of TAS, the bottom lane from TAS into a bad play, and then the AKM can pull off a play and maybe kill 2 members. Oh wait, Trundle?
Careful here, Ninekine has that ultimate, he decides not to go for it. Interesting choice.
I think he was afraid.
Yeah, he was unsure where the Sejuani was. As you see on the minimap down there, he has no vision of that river, so playing it safe, not wanting to give another kill over to this Trundle. So smart call from him.
Yep, and it's not necessary, especially because at that point the Trundle also had the Shin, and the Gnar just has the same items. So if you fall at that point against the Trundle with the lead that the Trundle already has, can be really detrimental for the Gnar. So I think respecting that point is not bad. But I think the Gnar also needs to begin having a little bit more impact because he's not able to get any plates, so not actually taking full advantage of the fact that he's a ranged versus melee matchup. He has a teleport, so he can look into going for a play on the other side of the map. But if he doesn't get that, it can be really detrimental for the side of AKM, and they are going to get much gold again.
Yeah, they're going to pop that Herald in the mid lane here.
The ulti hits!
Land onto Zendef. Zendef's going to go forward here, try to pick up that kill onto the Sejuani, but not enough damage there, and he's going to get DPS down. He's on the package, the card comes out, the flash, ult comes out from Coffee, Cataclysm is going to be used, she's going to be able to pick up a trade kill. Galio ult is coming in, and here comes Ninekine. They're going to be able to pick up a kill back, and finally in this series, a WOD team fight coming out for Akuma.
Yeah, and finally, bad play by TAS. They forced the fight, they hit the ultimate, but realistically, the Corki played that really badly. He used the package for in the direction of the turret, not actually hitting the area with the remaining damage. At the end, they were able to get the kill, but because they committed so much like that, they weren't able to kill the area fast enough, and that meant that the area could survive long enough for the Jarvan to come in. So overall, badly played by TAS, nice respawn by AKM like you were saying, and the Gnar was a factor of that fight without actually having to commit teleport. He committed teleport to go defend the top lane turret, but he was just cruising by to go fight for the trade, which I think TAS didn't want to force with the Trundle. Instead, they wanted to keep on giving plates to the Trundle, which he got to, which is nice, but at least AKM is able to bite back.
Yeah, they're able to, you know, bring the game back a little bit, bring the momentum towards themselves. I think a lot of these teams play off momentum, right? If they're able to get something going for themselves, they'll be able to continuously look for active plays on the map. And the composition of Akuma have a really good chain CC comp. So if they're able to get stuff going, they're able to, you know, chain that CC, whether it's that flag drag into Charm or Cataclysm into J4, Cataclysm into Galio ult. They're able to play as a team. They're going to be able to, you know, slowly claw back into the series.
Yep, and we're reaching the point where they are going to be much stronger. We're at 15 minutes with mythics completed, with their ultimates being useful. This is the most important point for them, and they are going to try and use it as effectively as possible. This turret capitalization is good. Here comes Yari though.
Engage coming out from 5 members of Akuma on the top side. They're going
Lily's
to
there.
the kill into
Yeah.
Lily. Lily goes down. The charm does land onto the Corki. Corki is going to
Stayed
be
as
going
well.
down. Kais is going to be able to pick up that kill. And a 5-man rotation coming out from Akuma on the top side of the map.
That was
That
such a bad
rocket does
misplay.
not land. Yeah, very nice play coming out from Akuma. And this is what I'm talking about. The momentum is in their favor. It's their tempo on the map, and it's their chance to make plays, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but I don't understand why. Like, I understand Akuma what they're doing, and like you're saying, really well played by them, forcing that play in a point where they are strong, and also with 5 members strong. So it makes sense that they go for this. I feel like TAS, I understand the idea of wanting to protect the turret, but you don't need to commit like that. Wait for your Thresh and say, "Johnny, to come here." If there's 4 members there, I think they can turn that around and probably win it. Because it's not like those 4 members are really weak, and you have also the Trundle ultimate, which wasn't used. So getting those extra assistances can turn around a fight. And you also leave your Jinx alone in bot lane, which she collected the whole turret, the whole 5 plates alone in the bot lane. So even if some die, but you're able to trade kills and protect the turret topside, it's a win-win for TAS. But because they commit so early on, it ended up affecting them like that. So if you're going to commit, wait for the rest of the members. If not, just leave and let the Jinx be alone down there collecting the gold, and you don't lose any members at all. But
Yeah.
they try to do both things, and it ends up backfiring really badly for them.
I want to point out though that first tower did go over to the side of Team Ambition,
Yeah.
so that gold was given over towards the Jinx, and we talked about it early. Jinx can scale really well into that late game, so her getting that gold is definitely not something to take lightly. I do, however, want to say I do like that Akuma made sure there was no neutral objectives on the other side of the map when they went for that play. Dragon was down, Herald was down. There really was nothing to lose besides that tower, and they went for it, and they were able to get the reward. Is that hook going to be landed? No, it's going to be sidestepped. The flashlight does come out. Taunt does come out from the Galio. Exhaust is going to be used here, and the zap does land. As same with the ultimate. Jinx's rocket does not land as well. Zendef is going to have to flash over this wall to safety. But here comes Corki. The engage coming back from the side of Galio, but he's going to not knock off anybody.
He's in a bad position.
The charm does land, but the cleanse is going to be used. This is the 4-man cataclysm coming out from Coffee. There's so much damage coming out from Akuma here. They're going to be able to clean wipe this team fight. Actually, it looks like there's some DPS coming back in exchange, but not enough. TA Spoozy's going to go down, and just like that, it's 4 for 1 in favor of Akuma.
Yeah, and Akuma is just playing what their composition needs to do. And TAS are the ones that are blundering the game, because realistically they don't need to force these things. But they are trying to force it, which I think to a certain degree it's not fine. Like, it's not bad. Like, you were able to get so many cooldowns out of the Kai'Sa, and all of those things are fine. But we saw there, the Jinx was so badly positioned, and the rest of the members were fine with her walking like that in front of an Ahri. Like, I speak of the Ahri as being a bad champion, and she's an awful champion, don't get me wrong. But if you're walking in front of her in charm range, and there's 4 other members around her, you're pretty much dead if you get hit by that. And that's what happened. Even with the cleanse, even with her trying to run away, she gets cataclysm, she insta dies, and they lose the fight. So I think that TAS are really not managing this mid game as well as they did in the previous game, and maybe it has to be with the fact that AKM was finally able to get back into the game. They are not in a gold disadvantage as heavily as they were in the previous game, and they're also not playing against an Ezreal that has an
engage here. For the engage, Cataclysm is available. He's able to get it off. He does get the Cataclysm. Galio should come over the top, but Zendef is 1v1ing the mid laner on the backside, and
he didn't do anything.
Yeah, Corki's unable to do anything here, and Akuma is just full healthy here. They're just going to start chasing down the members, but Dragon's going to be picked up for the J4 here, and it's going to be a wipe coming out. Can Villain save this team fight? He's trying to DPS down 9 climb, but the Flag Drag comes out into the charm. Ace for Akuma and Dragon, and it's a 3k gold lead on the map for them.
Well, if this keeps on happening, I'm going to say it. I think TAs are going to lose this game. Because those fights have been so badly played, like legitimately badly played. They are not playing to their team composition's advantages. They are just brute forcing their way against a composition that can brute force better. So it just doesn't make sense what TAs are doing now. But a great turnaround for AKM. They are understanding what they need to do. They know that realistically, if the side of TAS wants to do this, they can just brute force it, and they can brute force it better, and they have been doing that, playing a better game than in the first game, utilizing their composition much more effectively, and reaping the rewards at every point. And we talked about this. This is the point that the composition from AKM was going to be the strongest. at 15 minutes, after 15 minutes, before 25 minutes, when Jinx and Corki were still scaling because they're scalers, the Kaisa with the first item, the Denar with the first item, the Jarvan with the first item, you're going to get much more value out of those champions. Even without ultimates, you get way much more value because this is their strongest points. But you're not respecting that as CAS. They need to be much more careful about how they fight. And on the other side, AKM need to keep on doing this because this is the way that they're going to win this game.
Yeah. It feels like, from my perspective, that Team Ambition, Heart and Soul, is playing game 2, thinking they have the game lead they had, the gold lead they had in game 1. They're not that far ahead. Your comp needs to scale, like you mentioned. Akuma, their comp is its strongest right now, right? They have that engaged, they have that early mid-game composition, and they're exploiting it. They're looking for fights everywhere on the map because they're stronger than Team Ambition. Team Ambition needs to just put the brakes on a little bit and could continue to try to control the pace of the game, because if the pace of the game slows down and they're able to get some more items on these two carries, maybe they're able to pick up some more kills and slowly start to window away at this goal lead that Akuma has built here in the last 19 minutes.
Yeah, my point for Team Ambition, Soul, and Heart is still stands. Like, if they reach post 30-35 minutes, they win the. I feel like they win the game because the Jinx and the Corki are way better carries. But the problem is, like you're saying, the way that they're playing the tempo of the game is not according to what they have and how they should be playing. And that is the most detrimental part for them and the most advantageous thing for AKM. The fact that they are being answered by a team that is not really super strong at this point. And I also think that TAS are playing with Jinx like if they had an Ezreal that can survive by his own, not being peeled out, not having that safety that he had in the first game, and I think that's affecting them in the way that they're fighting Gold Corki.
Be careful, they're going to engage into this
Oh,
package.
what?
Stops the Valkyrie, and they're going to completely delete Corki here. TP coming out from the solo laners from both sides. Flash from Nubly here, he's able to get near their tower, put that pillar down, and the ultimate comes from Jinx, but not enough damage. Coffee's going to get away with a robbery here. Drops the Herald. Smoke does not land. Charm does land, though. It rings true. Nubly's going to get chunked up here. Nara does not go mega. He gets exhausted, actually, here. We're going to let this Herald charge and take this tower. Yeah, tower's going to go down in favor of Akuma, and Akuma's trying to just, you know, pick up these objectives on the side of the map, like they, on both side lanes, they picked up. Finally getting 1 tier 2, right when this dragon is going to spawn here. So they have enough time to reset, get some vision down, and come back and look for another fight at this dragon.
Yep, they are doing what they need to do. One quick thing I gotta say, I didn't know that was how the interaction worked. I thought that with when the Cataclysm comes in, if you already use the package, the W, you should be able to run away. But that's an actually interesting interaction to now know about. It seems like it can be really effective, but going to that really great play from AKM, the Cataclysm coming in, destroying the Corki, no flash, it's an easy kill, and they get full advantage of that. They can't even secure this turret. Instead of TAS need to get these standing goals, standing objectives that give you gold, because if not, you're not going to get a lot of gold influx. The next raid, realistically, you shouldn't fight it, which means that either you get gold from other sources, or you keep on just bleeding. And it's not going to be pretty for TAS if they keep on just bleeding.
Yeah, it's like you want to try to get picks for the side of TA, try to get some of this gold back, pick some of these shutdowns up. But the champions on Akuma are not champions you can pick. Yeah, Nara's just going to jump away. J4's just going to jump away. Ari's just going to dash away. Ari's going for a potential solo kill here, but uses that Spirit Rush.
I don't think... Can they do this?
They can, but looks like it's just
how
gonna be
fast?
Pigs are coming out. It looks like the side of Akuma knows this, and if they're able to get an engage off on this corridor, it's gonna be tricky. Yeah, it looks like
want to fight this. It can be. Oh no, Jinx, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think Team Ambition wants to. They want to fight when Akuma is taking Baron Aggro for the debuff, right? That's the ideal fight for them. But Akuma doesn't want that. Akuma's just going to walk towards the dragon, pick this up while this pseudo Baron dance is happening, and then they're just going to come back. You see the Jinx ultimate coming towards dragon. Does not ring true, it actually misses. But Baron's going to be started off from TAS here.
Kaisa and Ari are on Drake still, so maybe you can look into it, but I think, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Pillar's going to be used to disengage that.
In the time?
As well, but it looks like the side of Akuma have an inside track towards this mid lane. They should just look to take this tower.
in the time that they were trying to bait the side of Akuma to go for that, they could have perfectly just moved top lane, gotten that turret, gotten gold, and then just
Plans,
back.
but here comes the
Oh
engagement.
no, he's
Coffee, they're
dead,
going to
yeah.
completely delete the Thresh. Thresh goes down. Galio is going to be used onto one member.
And he's
Trying
dead.
to keep Coffee alive. Coffee lives with the Gore Drinker there. We see Zendef going in, but he's going to get ultimately, he's going to get snared up here by Spoozy on the Sejuani, but doesn't matter. The charm lands! Flash is going to be used by Corki. Ultimate's going to be flashed away by the Jinx, but they're just going to dogpile in. And
luckily they can push the win, but yeah, I feel like this is just showcasing what we have been talking about in the last 5 minutes. It's just Akuma understanding what they need to do and realistically not having much counter to it, because TAS are just ramming their heads into a wall consistently thinking that something will change.
Yeah. They're just going for broke at this point, but not enough damage. Oh, maybe an engagement Coffee's gonna get flayed in here. This might be punishable.
They can get a kill,
There's
yeah.
package available here. I don't
Okay.
know if the side of Team Ambition wants to go for more. They up not actually, excuse me, that was not package, that was just home guards on the Quirky. It looked like it was package.
Also with Trundle pushing topside, maybe they can get gold, so it's still like it's a good way to try and get back, because they get a good pick onto the Jarvan, and I think Jarvan had a small bounty as well, so it's still a good lead. Maybe they will look into the Baron. It's 20 seconds for the Jarvan. Corki has teleport, they are all rushing it. The Trundle was already on topside, so yeah, it seems like it's going to be the play.
Yeah. They're gonna start
everyone back from the side of AKM, so maybe they can pull it off actually.
I think Akuma's fine with this. They're trading the bot tower here for this Baron. They have 3 dragons. They just wait out. Oh, there's not enough creeps down there. It looks like the Jinx ultimate was used to try to AoE down some of that wave.
They back.
Trying to stop the timers here. Now it's an uneven fight. If anybody gets caught out,
you just need to. As long as they run out, if the Thresh dies, it's okay. If the Trundle dies, I think it's much worse. But yeah, they were able to disengage and run away. This is a great trade by TAS.
They're able to pick up that dragon, which it's going to be able to buy them some time here for themselves on the map, right? It's really, really hard for the composition of Akuma to organically siege into Baron. They need to dive, which they can do. But if the enemy team's way to get a tower is diving you, there's definitely outplay potential for yourselves. So, Charm does land from Zendef here, but not enough damage. Pillar's going to be used, and he actually does a lot of damage to the Trundle. He did 1/4 of his health in one spell rotation.
Yeah, being as far ahead as she is, she at least has damage because she's far ahead, so she can deal the damage to the Trundle, but effectively not getting anything out of that. Luckily for the Trundle not dying there or not committing there, because the Kaisa was behind. So if you ended up going for that play, it could have just ended up being a kill. And now TAS with the Baron buff can at least slow the momentum from AKM, but realistically this doesn't mean that much for AKM, because it's 134 Drake. And it's the soul point, and that soul is really good because it's a mountain soul with 3 super beefy champions and 1 Sonjas of the Ari. This is a good play by Nobility though. Pushing the wave and getting that extra gold, it's going to be really important. And he's also a Trundle can push that wave really effectively. So
with
it's
Baron and
not a bad
Tiamat.
play. Yeah.
With that Baron and Tiamat, if the side of Akuma doesn't send somebody to stop this, he's going to take towers freely.
Back, but that turret is already dead.
Yeah. This is also a potential win con for Team Ambition here. The split push. The side of Akuma really, their comp really excels when they're S5, right? And dragging one member away.
Oh, he missed.
Going to be, yeah, he misses that
No.
engage. But the Shurikens is going to be used, and they're going to try to go on this. Coffee goes in, misses the flag and drag. They're looking for Bill in here, but they're unable to pick it up.
This feels
Getting
really
dicey.
strange. Yeah. Because now there's 2 items on the Corki and 2 items on the Jinx. If they get a good fight where they get a lot of damage down, I don't think that's the target you should look into, but okay. She deals a lot of damage, so looking forward. But this is one of the things that we also mentioned. The fact that going blindly into a jungle can be really dangerous for the side of TAS, so they need to be much more careful about how they try to move around this. Oh, the Thresh.
Thresh is going to get completely DPS down. Flag Thresh is going to be used. He's going to be able to flash away. Box is used as well to disengage. Nara's over the wall. Mega is here, but it looks like it's going to be a full disengage coming out from Team Ambition. They're just going to give over soul.
I think he wants to go for the steal, but I don't think. Yeah, I know. They have complete vision control. There's no chance. It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they are fully dependent now on having a team fight that with 4 items that they can win, and that's the best bet by TAS. And well, AKM can just try and force a fight, and if they are able to just clean out the fight, they can probably win the game with the open inhibitor and the waves and how the waves are pushing. I think they have positioning to try and pull that off.
Yeah. Uh, it's Akuma's game to lose at this point. Just like in game one,
Yeah,
Team Ambition had that soul and it was their game to lose. They just needed to execute accordingly. Same thing here for Akuma. If they're able to get that team fight that they've been consistently getting throughout this game, they're just going to wipe it and be able to close out this game. It really just comes down to execution, like we were talking about in draft.
yeah, but it should be really hard to mess up at this point, especially with how well they have been playing. I think it should be really hard to mess up. So I expect Akuma to be able to pull it off, and I really hope they do because I think they deserve to win with how they've been playing and how they answered back. Even though the early game started really dicily with a couple of kills going in the favor of TAS and them being able to outplay better, I think the way that they played the mid game, the late early game and the mid game transition into the mid game was really good, and they deserve to be able to pull it off. But if TAS is able to bring it back, it just shows how well they play this style, this controlled late game carry style.
Yeah, it's how do I explain it? The adaptation from game one to game two from Akuma was superb.
Yeah.
And I really think the key adaptation here was putting Coffee on somebody with agency, right? He can't really do much as the Mundo, like he can just throw cleavers, but all of the engages this game have been off the back of this J4. He was able to control
Yeah.
team fights with his engages and with his Cataclysm, and they need to make sure, like, as they think about the next game, well, they obviously have to close this out, but as they think about draft, they need to make sure they continue with that same theme.
Yeah, that idea can be good. I also really like the idea of having the follow-up from the Galio. So you have the coffee engaging, and like you're saying, was really important. But having the extra follow-up from the support is also a really important thing to have, because going in alone could be really dangerous. So having someone to follow you up was going to be really important in this game.
Yeah. And this, I mean, there is still the Elder win con, right?
Yeah,
From Team Ambition, they still
whoever
have a
gets
lot
the
of
can win the
AOE
game.
damage. They still have a lot of AOE damage with a good, properly timed package here, and with Jinx rockets over the top. Like, there's still a lot of potential for a potential steal. So it
Yeah.
really, I don't even know if Akuma wants to take a flip on Elder. They need to make sure they secure this Baron here. That's
Maybe
fine.
they want to win with this Baron. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would. That's what I would want to do here. You see them getting the vision. They have the split push going. Nine Clan pretty much wins the split push now that he has this sun, or he's 3 items. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once that subjugate comes out, you just run away, wait it out, and then you win the split push. But Baron started, and it looks like Team Ambition's going to look for this. They do engage. Lands
I don't know.
onto Kaisa.
Oh, wait.
Gets down, but she's using the ultimate to stay alive here in the backside of the team fight. But here we do see Daddy's Alien going down. The Thresh does go down successfully. Spoozy does go down.
That was so close to that.
Come out for the side of Akuma, and they're able to clean up 2 kills here. I don't know if they're going to go for more. They might just want to go for the mid lane inhibitor here.
They still have the 2 most massive ults, which are the Cataclysm and the Kali ultimate, and the Hero's Entrance. So there's still the chance for AKM to just look at that. Oh wait, Jinx needs to be really careful.
Yeah. She does have that flash cleanse if she does get caught out, but you don't want to be. Oh,
Oh,
the
the
taunt
taunt.
lands, and they're going to go into the taunt.
Dead?
CC layer comes out into the Cataclysm, into the Galio ult. Beautiful display of chain CC coming out, but the DPS is still there.
Oh, I
Gets the
survived.
resets. Man, Jinx almost gets that reset there on her passive. So close.
Yeah, if she gets that, maybe they can try and pursue something, but they can look into that. The Baron is still up though, so they were able to slow it down with the Sejuani app now, and so many members needing to back. It's not a completely bad situation for the side of TAS, but they still need the gold into the Corki. They need to try and get the Corki. He's mythic. He's still not he's mythic less,
Should
and
have
he
it on
needs that.
back here. It's only 600 gold from here.
Does he?
Does he
Yeah,
have
he
it?
has it. Okay,
Does
yeah,
get it.
that is a really important power spike.
Huge. And we saw those rockets in that team fight from both Corki and Jinx were doing a lot. And if they have enough free time to get the DPS off onto the same target, that's the most important thing. They need to kill somebody to get Jinx excited. Once Jinx is excited, she can start running through these team fights. She does a lot of damage here. She has this IE completed. That's going to be the key here for the side of Team Ambition.
Yeah, and we saw actually the wait.
Package going to be
Oh,
used
the
close
first.
to him. They're going to DPS him down.
Oh,
He's going to use the ultimate to safety clearance. Jinx is going to use, and he does not go down thus far. Jinx is trying
did
to
he
zoom
die?
out here. Jinx is going to be DPS down here on the backside. He does
Kaisa
not go
didn't die.
down. Kaisa is kiting beautifully with the red buff Cataclysm used to keep him safe. And on the front side of the fight, we see the Jinx go down as well, and it's
I think
looking
that's
like
it.
it's going to be a clean ace coming out for Akuma here, and this is definitely game 2.
Yeah, I think that's it. Kaisa didn't die at that point. I like the idea of committing, but the follow-up was just not there for the Corki to get someone else. And this is the problem with the Trundle. Even though Trundle is a really interesting pick to play around and can get a lot of value, realistically, he doesn't have the follow-up that a lot of other top laners, tank laners have. And that means that trying to win that fight can be really hard. So at the end, it didn't matter too much. AKM getting the win after doing everything right after the first 10 minutes of the game. They get the win deservedly. And TA is also just, I feel like they misplayed so many times without actually needing to, overcommitting, overforcing plays, having such a good composition for late game, and instead just trying to do things without actually needing to meant that they were going to be really far behind. And at the important points where they needed to have the items to fight, they were so far behind in gold that it didn't matter. And it showed at the end.
Yeah, they need to I think going into game 3 here, Team Ambition needs to kind of recalibrate and recognize that in game 2 they weren't as ahead as they were in game 1, and they need to respect the power spikes of their opposition, right? If they're able to recalibrate and play around their win cons, they'll definitely have a chance to come out on top in game 3 here. For the side of Akuma, I think they need to make sure Coffee is on a champion that has this engage potential, because his engages that
Yeah.
game were phenomenal. He was flag dragging in into Cataclysm at the same time with Galio ulting on top of it. And the dive. I said this in draft of game 1. The side of Akuma needs to play dive, and that's what they excel at. And that's what we saw here in game 2.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that it's going to be really important, like you're saying. I think Coffee having that Yarban force certainly helped a lot of the things in this game. And I also think that mid lane wise, the matchup, I don't, and I'm going to make myself clear for the last time. I hate the Ari pick. I think such a risky and bad pick in general that you shouldn't pick it out, play it out. But this time around, with how far ahead they were, walking in blindly to certain places and having the Ari that can quickly follow up the Jarvan was a really good thing because the amount of time that it took for somebody to follow up with the Jarvan was so low, realistically, if you think about it. Each fight, as soon as Jarvan went in, everyone else went in, which means that it was really easy to be able to execute fights and win fights. So if they can get something similar in the third game, something that can quickly follow up to whatever Coffee will try and pull off, then it can turn into a really nice scenario for AKM, and they can win fights that way as well.
With that being said, we are going to cut to a quick break here while we get set up for the third and final game here. Please stay tuned in and to see if Team Ambition Heart and Soul are able to close out the series, or if Akuma Shuriken are able to complete the reverse sweep. All right, folks, welcome back to the third and final game here of Akuma Shurikens taking on Team Ambition Heart and Soul in the round of 16 of Aegis Protectors League. Sides have switched TDS, and these bans are coming out.
Yep, and we will need to see if there's going to be adaptations by TAS in this game, maybe taking away the Jarvan that was really impactful, but now AKM with the first pick have now the potential to secure that really impactful Jarvan that we saw in the previous game. We'll need to see what they want to go for though.
I think both teams play that J4, Xin Zhao, Diana, like the engaged junglers, right? And we see the
Yeah.
Xin Zhao taken away, so J4 is has kind of moved up in that tier list to that second slot if you're playing in engaged junglers. We see the Diana taken away, so it looks like it's going to be J4. I don't want to say it until it's banned yet. J4 up for Akuma if they choose to pick it here.
And I think it'll be, unless they think that the Galio was much more impactful, but I think the Jarvan, yeah, they think the Galio. I'm surprised. I was just mentioning to put it out there, but I thought they were going to prioritize much more the Jarvan. But maybe they think that the Galio can work better with other junglers that can engage. Meanwhile, the Jarvan with the Jarvan alone isn't going to be that impactful. But yeah, TAs are just going to go for the Jarvan. I think it's a good idea. In the first game, we saw early game action from the TAs jungler, so it makes complete sense that they want to force this around in this time in this game.
Yeah. Let's see the J4. Yeah, obviously taken away by Team Ambition, like I mentioned. It's a very contested pick between both the junglers. And I wonder if there's going to be any priority on one of these tankier top laners. I don't know. Both players playing. Oh, Aphelios Prio coming out.
We saw it ban in the previous game when they picked
Yes.
when the Thresh came through. So I think it does make a little bit of sense. And we now will need to see if AKM wants to take away the Thresh, because I feel the Thresh can be such a good bot lane.
Yes. So you kind of know that this, or are assuming this Galio is going support. You pick the Aphelios here and the J4, which both kind of don't want to be playing against the Thresh. They kind of want the Thresh on their team. Um, and Akuma can't really pick the Thresh, because if you pick the Thresh here, that means Galio's going mid, and their mid lane player is this dive-oriented player, like carry player. He's not going to be playing the Galio. But we do see the Ziggs Nocturne picked up, and that's a lot of dive coming out from Akuma.
Okay, so yeah, and this was why they prioritized the Galio pretty much, because they thought that they can go for another jungler that can do close to the same to the Jarvan, but have the follow up with the Galio to execute really well. And against an Aphelios that, even though we say that the Aphelios can be really good, and I'm surprised it's Sarakan and not the Thresh to try and give survivability for the Aphelios, this time the Aphelios can be really susceptible against the Galio Nocturne combo. And if you're able to get on top of the Aphelios with the Galio Nocturne, then with the Mega Inferno Bomb, you can pretty much destroy him. So this game is going to be a little bit hard for the Aphelios to fight it around, but if he can do it, he can just deal so much immense amounts of damage, and that can be really important for TAs, especially with having such a easy to execute engage with the Jarvan and Rakan in the team.
Yeah, the problem is there's no peel for this
Yeah.
Aphelios, and there's a lot of dive coming out of Akuma. And if they show
Yeah.
us anything in game 2, they can get onto you if you don't have peel. So it's really scary. And we see more dive champions being banned away by Team Ambition. This Ari, this LeBlanc, and actually on the contrary, Akuma decides to take away the Shen and the Corki that was picked for the mid lane for the Team Ambition in the first 2 games.
Yeah, and I think the Corki ban is not a bad idea. Corki, I feel like Corki was one of the main shining lights in the two previous games, so I think it makes sense that it's still here. Mordekaiser coming through blindly. I'm not fully a fan of this pick coming blindly, particularly, much more so than just the pick overall. I think that if you're going to play the Mordekaiser, you should try and get the most advantageous matchup, because if not, you can. If the Mordekaiser is not in a comfortable position, he can just get destroyed, not destroyed, but he can just get put behind, and his actual value will devolve into just being an R bot. And that's not what you want to try and do and pull off with the Mordekaiser. But one of the good things that he does have is that he can deny one of the main divers for coming through. Maybe not the Olaf, but the Nocturne Olaf, the Nocturne Galio can get denied by the Mordekaiser.
Is this top lane Olaf?
I think it's Nocturne Soul Lane and Olaf Jungle.
Okay, so we saw top lane Olaf earlier this week in Aegis Defender League against a Orin, I believe, in the top lane, and he absolutely destroyed him there. It's something that was picked by Fnatic as well recently. Well, not recently, a couple weeks ago in LEC. So I don't know if this is what it's leaning towards, because it kind of directly counters the Mordekaiser if you think about it.
Yeah, to a certain I think that 1v1 wise, the Olaf can be a good matchup against the Mordekaiser. And realistically, the ultimate from the Mordekaiser shouldn't affect the Olaf that much, because you have your Ragnarok, and you also kind of deny a lot of the potential that the Mordekaiser has. So it makes sense to pull it through. What I'm afraid of with the Olaf in this particular game is that you're picking him particularly against the Jarvan. So if it's in a 1v1 situation against the Mordekaiser, it makes complete sense. If it's to try and play teamfights against a Jarvan, it makes no sense at all, because you're just going to get locked down in position and you cannot escape. So it's going to be interesting seeing how AKM try to play around him and how they try to play around the game with the Olaf. But last pick from TAS, the Tristana, similar to the Corki in the sense that it's going to be a late game carry, but that can have a little bit more impact early on. But against a Victor, I'm not sure how favorable it is. I think levels 1 to 6 should be good enough for the Tristana, because the Victor doesn't have his first upgrade, which means that it's going to be much harder to push the wave against the Tristana. But if not, later on the Victor can stand by himself against Tristana.
Yeah, I definitely like the I like the Tristana pick more so that it can match the pressure that Ziggs can give off on the map in terms of tower take. That's something that I really think is important. And it has that self peel in its kit, right? Where if Akuma is diving in, she has that rocket jump to get to safety, that buster shot. to peel herself. So she's kind of self-sufficient in team fights, and she's just going to look to get as much DPS down as possible. The side of TAS just really need to make sure that Aphelios gets to those item spikes and they keep him alive in these team fights.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously, we saw in the second game that they needed to do the same, and they didn't wait
Yes.
for that point to happen. So we need to see also not only now with the changing picks and the changing in drafting wise, but also we need to see the changing mentality in how they play this game. Because if not, it can just end up being a similar situation to the second game, trying to overforce and overcommit plays that they didn't to happen, and then just giving away easy gold leads for the side of AKM that has such a good mid-game composition that if they get leads, it can just be so easy to execute and win the game through that. But we will need to wait and see. Also, one thing that Tristana does provide as well is the fact that if the Aphelios gets destroyed, you at least has a secondary carry to be able to play the late game team as well.
Yeah. With that being said, we're going to cut it to our final break for the night while we get ready for this third and final game to see who will advance to quarterfinals. Don't click away from that browser. We'll be back with game 3 of this series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for game 3 of this series. Winner takes all. Whoever wins this game will advance to quarterfinals. Whoever loses, their season will come to an end. We have Akuma Shurikens on the blue side taking on Team Ambition Heart and Soul on the red side. How you feeling, TDS?
Confused a little bit. After the first game, I was expecting TS to be able to clean it up, but Akuma certainly showing up, saying that they don't want to let their season end in the second game, and playing a really good second game. Now we need to see everything falling down in the third game. Who is going to take it? Who is going to fail? And have to wait till the next season. Or it's a really good
See that
slate.
undertow land? Another one lands as well, and they're going to try to DPS down.
You have to force flash, yeah.
Yeah, TA Spooge is going to flash away here, and it's looking good for Akuma here at the early part of the game. They're going to be able to get the flash from J4 here and some pressure down in the mid lane.
Yeah, great level 1 from the side of AKM, understanding the power, the potential from the Olaf to just utilize consistently the access to be able to slow down the Jarvan 4, and without the flag and drag potential from the level 1, it was going to be the flash forced from the Jarvan, and they get such an important advantage, especially because Jarvan now without the flash can be much more weak, trying to tempt going for ganks in certain places, and these can benefit a lot the Nocturne as well, because Nocturne realistically doesn't want to go for ganks. Instead, he wants to farm as fast as possible to reach level 6 and then begin impacting the map. So having the Jarvan not being as impactful can be really determining for the Nocturne in the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We also didn't get to touch on the fact that it is going to be this Olaf top lane here for 9Klein into that Mordekaiser. Definitely does well post 6 in that series. In that matchup. So we're going to see how that plays out in the top lane, but we finally get to see the Ziggs that I wanted to see in game 2 for the side of Akuma in the bot lane, and it's a very controlled style. They just poke with their bouncing bombs, try to get some damage onto minions and the enemy champions at the same time. It's pretty standard stuff, and if you're able to get to that Leandries plus a death cap combo, you'll be doing the most damage over it.
Yeah, pretty much. And also one of the good things that this 6 allows to have with the pushing power is the fact that it can free up your support to not be stuck in lane. Because realistically 6 can farm from a safe distance and you don't have to be that scared about a lot of things. Even though yes, it's a Rakan, so Rakan obviously can close those kinds of super huge distances really easily with his combo and his kit. But if the 6 is able to farm from a safe distance, not be in such a bad position, and keep up the push of the wave, or at least keep it from the turret, then Galio will be allowed to roam around the map and utilize his immense amounts of C, as well as if he reaches level 6, his hero's entrance to try and impact the rest of the map as well.
Yeah, it's just like game 2, execution. If Akuma is able to get onto this backline with their champions, they should be theoretically winning over these team fights. But if they're not able to, and TA is able to hit these power spikes on their carries, TA will be able to slowly take the lead in terms of how team fights are supposed to go. With that being said, I think there's a lot more fail safes for the side of Akuma than there were last game. This is not solely a dive onto your enemy team comp. They have the Ziggs here, they have the Victor, they have their own control and their own siege at the same time.
Yeah.
So they have the fail safes built into their composition, which I really like.
Yeah, the only main risk can be the fact that if they depend only and solely on the AP damage, then trying to deny that can be not that hard for TAS. But like you're saying, I think that they have way much more safety insurances in the Six and the Victor than they had in the previous game. And if something goes wrong, it's not the end of the world because I feel like Nocturne. Oh wait,
He's gonna go for this. He flashes out the tether there. Nubly does. He's able to pull back 9 and land that decimating strike, and pretty much just nullifies the gank. He had to blow his flash. maybe we'll see Coffee come back here at level 6 to try to punish that, but for the most part, Nubly should be safe.
Yeah, but Coffee already starting to impact the map. Even though we talked about how the Nocturne is much more of a try to rush to level 6 and impact the map through your ultimate kind of champion, he went in for a lane gank with a push that was already secured by the Olaf. Having cleared all of his jungle, he just waited a little bit, got the flash out, and now can come back into farming realistically. And like you're saying, he will farm from bottom to top because of the spawning of camps, and that means that if by the time that he goes topside, he hits level 6, he will be able to come into the lane that has no flash with Paranoia and try and secure a kill there.
Yeah, and both 9 and Coffee here have abilities to get out of that death realm.
Yeah.
The Ragnarok, the spell shield to block the cast. So it's not necessarily just a don't gank the Mordekaiser situation here. You can definitely punish him post 6.
Yeah, even 1v1 wise, I think you can win. They are two champions that can fight against the Mordecai. So even if it seems like a bad idea typically against most champions, I think Nocturne and Olaf are special cases because of how good 1v1s they have. But now it's TS going for the Earth Drake. I like this play especially because one of the ways to try and deny AKMs to be able to just bulldoze the mid game or try and force the mid game is to make the Drakes not be as valuable because you took one. So that makes that it's going to be 4 minutes that AKM no longer has of impact against TAS, while TAS now have 4 minutes more to buy into the game for them.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like you said, it buys more time for their composition to get to those item spikes. Also, their composition is kind of stronger at like in terms of like the jungle mid synergy at this point in the game. So them going for that early dragon is smart, because if there was a fight that was to break out, the J4 Triss definitely wins.
Yeah, really early on, yeah, probably. And now we need to also see if the side of AKM want to try and force fights before their mythics come through, because mythic timings are also really important for some of these champions. I think specifically the Olaf and the Olaf, Six, and Victor are three of the champions that does matter much more the fact that they have the mythics because of how much extra oomph they get because of that. So Six gets the extra burn if he goes for the Andres, or the extra burst potential with the Ludens, same with the Victor, and the Olaf gets the extra survivability. So we will need to see if they do want to fight with the mythics up, or if they want for something, okay, they for something.
The top side of the map here.
No flash?
Spell shield. He does spell shield the Paranoia there. Not the Paranoia, excuse me, the Death Realm. And they're able to pick up first blood on the top side for Akuma.
Yeah, and just like you said, the fact that these two champions can deny the Death Room so effectively, well, not super effectively, the Nocturne has to time it correctly, but this time around he did it so well. He denies the Death Room, and it's an easy kill. And I was talking about if they were going to force a fight before they get the mythic timings, but they certainly went forward for it. I really like this play by Coffee. I like that they go for the play with Paranoia as soon as they get level 6. I feel like a lot of times the Nocturnes just hold the Paranoia down without actually using it, and because this time around they just decided to go for it, they get the kill, and this time around they are in a really good position starting the game, like in the previous game.
Yeah, they knew that Nubly did not have that flash. He was not overextending the lane, but he was far enough up where they could punish him with that Paranoia. So they use it, and they're able to just run him down and pick up that kill. And we see it engage in the mid lane here. We see the Tristana jump in onto Zendef with the Chaos Storm with the Gravity Field there, doing a lot of damage, and just ultimately for ultimate and disengage coming out. In the bot lane, we see the Grand Entrance coming out from Daddy Zillion, but also just trade of some spells, nothing else.
Yeah, but in the mid lane, the Tristana losing that trade I think can be a little bit worrisome, because mainly because of the fact that she had the Ignite. So actually losing that trade early on against the Victor may spell bad things later on. But obviously the more that she gets items, the easier it gets for her to be able to burst out targets. And this not doesn't necessarily show what will happen later on. It's just a little scary thing for me later on. But really well played by the Victor on the mid lane to deny the damage, deny the potential from the Tristana to kill you, and also trade so much damage in. Realistically, with Victor, as long as you keep on farming, you're getting a lot of value. I would like also, this is just a little thing by me, I would really like to see Coffee and Galio going for a gank into the mid lane to try and kill the Tristana and give an assist or a kill to the Victor. Because with the Victor now as he is, you really want to get your Hex tech upgrades as soon as possible.
Yeah. I agree. Like you were touching on the mythic timers a lot, but for Victor, it really is that Hex tech augments that once he's able to get that E-evolve to match the wave clear of Tristana, get that
It just
Q
makes
evolve
the matchup better.
Yeah, it just makes the matchup so much better. It looks like the side of TA is going to go here, but Nocturne is here. He has the Paranoia available. Is he going to go in onto Tristana? He is. Flashes, follows the Tristana, able to pick up that kill on the backside of the team fight. Is he going to be able to get out? Uses that Q for the movement speed, and it looks like we see a rotation coming out from the Ziggs here, actually. He TPs to that top side fight, and it should be a one fight coming out for Akuma.
Not gonna lie, I don't like the TP that much, but better to be safe than sorry, right? So going there for supporting the fight. That fight by AKM really well played. Really funny that we see the Jarvan immediately engage into the Olaf, and Olaf doesn't care a lot at all and just flashes on top of the Tristana, try and burst it out. With the Paranoia, you get the ability to follow the Tristana even if she repositions herself, and with that they get the kill on the Tristana. Once again, I feel like I wish that the Victor was able to get a little bit of that action, because getting that hex core upgrade would have been so crucial. But it's just a little bit of a thing that I would really like to see. But overall, AKM playing really well, forcing things ready on, and utilizing the paranoia timings really well as well. I think that's really crucial in this game.
Yeah, I think he's had it up for. He's got 2 ultimates off already, 3 ultimates, 2 ultimates, and he's only level 8. So he's getting it. He's on that timer for that 1 ultimate a level timer you want to be on when you have this global. Even if you're just burning the flash, is something to go for. But shines of silver linings for Team Ambition here. Excuse me. They're able to pick up the second dragon, helping them stack these dragons towards that soul point. And it is Inferno Soul. That's a big win con on the map now.
Yeah, and it's not only getting the dragons to get closer to the soul, but also like we said previously, buying time in case something really bad goes on, so that the dragon soul is not a super important win condition against AK. But getting that top lane turret down, getting the gold inputs from the plates into the Olaf that was losing in farm, so at least putting the matchup much more in favor of the Olaf at that point, and maybe they get another charge. But Tristana coming topside, I think it's going to deny the second charge from this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they should be able to stop that. He turns around for the minion, and we see Tristana pick up that auto onto the eye there, bursting it down. I think the augments are very important. It's almost being picked up here. He's at 98 CS, so 2 more creeps, he'll have that first augment.
It's already done.
Oh, it's already done? Did they lower it from 100?
I think it's 100, but Cannon gives extra. Oh wait,
see an engage on the bot side here. They're going to engage onto Villain in glasses. The satchel pushes him back towards the turret of Akuma, but not enough damage there. Villain's going to step forward. He flashes forward. He's autoing beautifully. And he picks up this kill. Beautifully played by the bot lane of Team Ambition, Heart and Soul here.
Yeah, and right now, looking as the main hope with how everything else is going in the map, that Aphelios getting that kill is going to be crucial. If he can snowball this into being the main carry later on in the game, it's going to be the most important thing. Oh wait,
he's out. He's gonna, one more auto, he's going to be able to pick it up.
Oh, the fear.
It's going to be picked up by Akuma. Not Akuma, yeah, by Akuma Coffee here. He's going to try to chase down Daddy Zillion here. Flash is going to be burned. The Nimbus Cloak movement speed is there to help Daddy Zillion get to safety.
Coffee is playing this Nocturne really well and really aggressive as well. I really like what we have been seeing from the Nocturne in this game, and he can keep on doing this plays as long as he has the cooldown down from the Paranoia and is ready to go for action, and the team is ready to follow up. He can do so much in this game, especially with the lead that he already has. The Aphelios still has the advantage, which is really important, especially because now he has the shield bow to try and survive the dive potential from AKM. But AKM is still in a really good position, and they can still be able to pull a lot of things. And also, yeah, quick thing, the Victor,
we've seen engage in the mid lane here, the taunt, but Daddy Zillion's going to be able to use that grand entrance.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah, I was just going to say that Victor, it's 100 stacks for the first upgrade, but cannons are valued more.
Right. I know like kills and assists gives you 25 correct credits towards that augment.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming
for
for
6.
disengage here. Beautiful satchel disengages that gank. Well played here from the bot lane of Akuma. Maybe something more coming from here. No.
No wave, yeah, it was going to be really hard without a wave, and without the Cataclysm trying to secure again, the 6 was going to be near impossible. So I think that it's smart to not try and overcommit here. Just push the wave, leave the affiliates to get a really good back, and try and play around the fact that your affiliates is really strong. Because right now, realistically, if you look at the rest of the map, mid lane is really equal, but the Tristana has already died. The jungle, I think it's really in favor of the Nocturne. He's really strong right now with the Mythic completed and the Paranoia close to being level 2. The Olaf is really strong as well. The Mordekaiser has died and doesn't have a Mythic yet, so it's going to be really hard to try and fight. Oh wait,
The
Paranoia?
bot lane, they're going to go into the bot side of the map here. Galio ult on top there. And it
was
does
late.
not pick up anything. It's just, I don't even think they flashed. They just kind of walked out.
Yeah. Paranoia came through, but the follow-up from the hero's entrance was a little bit too late, and it meant that the lockdown on Rakan or on Aphelios wasn't there. I also think that Paranoia went down onto the Rakan instead of the Aphelios, so Aphelios just kind of ran away, and Rakan just used his abilities to escape.
Yeah, and those are some big cooldowns to use here 1 minute before Dragon's supposed to spawn. If Team Ambition's able to sneak this third dragon away here, it's going to be a
That can
ticking time
change a lot
bomb
of
for
things.
Akuma. Yeah. We see potential of an engager. Coffee's in the wing. They're going to go here. TP's coming out.
Oh,
3
double
TP's in the
tilted.
ball, and it's going to be a full-on wombo here. That J4 does go down, so does the sees Zendef TP in here. He's going to pick the kill up for himself. The Chaos Storm is going through the entire backline here, and Nubli's by himself into 4 members of Akuma. The fear comes out. Nubli actually is in the death zone. Excuse
Oh,
me.
he
here.
should. Oh, wait.
He
No,
does
he's not going
live.
to die?
Yeah, he lives there. And it's going to be a one team fight coming out for Akuma. 3 kills being picked up, and this dragon should be theirs.
And that was a team fight that Team Ambition Heart and Soul wanted. They walked forward to try and collapse into the 6 and the Galio that were kind of mispositioned, not thinking that the Nocturne was there, but also not respecting the double teleport. And this is a really important thing to note, because we talked about this. The Tristana has Ignite instead of teleport, which means that if she's walking down instead of teleporting, she may take longer to get to the 5, and that means that AKM has potential to fight a 5 before that, as we saw, they just won. And Spusi, he's walking even into a bad position.
Looking for that steal, but
he got it!
It goes over
They
the
get
wall.
the kill as well.
The steal, and they're able to get 2 kills back in. Tragedy strikes for Akuma here.
How did that work for Team Ambition, for
Wow.
TAS? That shouldn't have worked out, but credit to Spusi, he was determined to achieve it, and he ends up getting the steal and getting 2 kills as well. That's really nice momentum swing, not necessarily gold swing, but momentum swing going into TAS, because that means Soul Point. That means that they just need one more trick to reach to Soul, but it also means that now AKM has to be much more careful about the tricks, because if they give it away, it's a lot of stats going into the Aphelios and the Tristana that you realistically don't want to give away for free.
Yeah, if they're able to get this this Infernal Soul and Aphelios get to 2 to 3 items, it's gonna be scary. Because we've already seen Villain prove that he can pilot this champion in that 2v2 in the bot lane. So if he's able to have these stat buffs around him and these items to help, make sure he stays alive, the shield bow and etc., he's going to be a serious problem for the side of Akuma.
Yeah, but I feel like Akuma kind of understand that that can be a really huge risk, so they won't fall into that trap. But realistically, we have seen a lot of swings in this series. Oh wait, nice satchel charge.
These satchels have been on point. You can see how
Yeah.
comfortable he is on the champion.
Yeah, certainly he has, and he's not also overcommitting in bad positions either. So showing that he knows in what positions he can be. Oh wait, Lord.
Ward is going to be caught out here potentially. Yeah, he's going to go down. It's just that wombo.
Exploded. Yeah, and I like that they went for this kind of play at this point. Yeah, there's no objective, but I like that they committed for it. Oh wait, yes?
Villain's going to be caught out potentially. Sees the Grand Entrance come out onto Zendef. Zendef has to flash away here. He does use the Chaos Storm trying to DPS down Villain in glasses. Shield Bell's proc. Can the Chaos Storm pick it up? Not enough damage. Boozy is going to be potentially caught
It
out
was
here.
one tick.
One tick, yeah, but we see the re-engage coming out from Akuma, and the re-engage from Spoozy. 3-man cataclysm, but there's no damage there, but there's the tower. The tower is there, Coffee's gonna go down. Spoozy is gonna get go back in with no HP. They're trying to get more and more from this team fight, and here comes Tristana. She rocket jumps in. Rocket jump is available, so is Ignite. Is she gonna be able to drop it?
Oh, she flashed out.
She flashes, engage, does drop the Ignite, and here comes Villain and Glass. Is he able to pick up the shutdown? And he's gonna go down, he's gonna go down. It's just 2 members alive on the map.
She will jump in. Okay, she wanted to, it seems.
Explosive team fight there. Just both teams going back and forth, re-engage after re-engage after re-engage.
Yeah, and what it was a small skirmish. It was a peek on the affiliates into a small skirmish, into a kind of a team fight, into just members watching each other run away, because it was really close for both of the sides. And I think that if the affiliates dies at the start, or if they are able to clean up, the fight before anything happens, or if the Cataclysm doesn't kill the Nocturne, that fight could have been really differently for either side. But because it ended up transpiring like it did, realistically, there's not a huge advantage going to either side. But I think TAS can favor from this because it's kills going into their carries and their most important members, which I think it's really valuable for them because they are banking on being able to play the late game better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying there. If these fights are close enough where we see the red buff reset there. These fights are close enough where if these carries on Team Ambition have more items, or have these items completed, they're not going to be this close. So it's a good sign for the side of Team Ambition. But on the contrary, Akuma, they're able to, get these picks off on the sidelines with their comps. They were able to pick off Noobly there at the start of the fight. They just got caught under tower in that Cataclysm. They just have to make sure they're not disrespecting the potential engage that
like this.
Oh, yes, just like that. Yeah, we see the ultimate come out from Coffee, but the Buster Shot's going to be used. They're going to charm up Zendef here. He's going to get knocked up, and here comes Villains and Glasses. They're going to try to burst down Zendef. Exhaust is used. Zendef goes down, and Dragon spawning in 40 seconds here, and there's not going to be a Victor alive for it.
He does have teleport though, so at least it's not the worst situation, but it's another kill for the Aphelios, and if he's able to back before this Drake, which I don't think he will, it's 30 seconds for the Drake, he's clearing the wave in mid lane, there shouldn't be a chance for that.
It's like Noobly's gonna be caught out. He has the ultimate available, let's use it.
Okay, no, he is
it. Is he gonna be able, he might actually win this against the Galio here.
What is he? Yeah,
he's going to his team. Beautiful communication, flash engage, he's able to pick up that kill onto the Galio here. But good communication in and outside of the death zone, I'm telling you, to kite up towards the river. And this, we do see Zendef spawning here in 2 seconds. TP is available. There is a good word on the backside of the river. Here comes.
He doesn't have ulti though.
He does not have ulti, but he does have a lot of damage.
Oh, the engage?
Yeah, the engage is out of the side
heal
of Team Ambition. But not enough damage is there. The heal, the Gore Drinker, the DPS, and that's going to be a one team fight for Akuma, and they live for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, the 1,000 and health heal from the Gore Drinker there to make the Olaf survive for long enough so that they can win that team fight. Came in crucially. It's not something that you should expect to see a lot of the times because it shouldn't matter that much, but it ends up turning around the team fight, allowing them to win the team fight really effectively. Crucial members getting the kills in the 6 and the Victor, and they also get the Drake, which means that Soul Point is evaded. Soul is evaded for another 4 minutes and 30 seconds, which can be really important because if they get another pick at this point of the game with Baron up, they can go for the Baron instead, and that means that they can secure the next Drake much more easily.
Yeah. They did find that pick onto Zendef, but it seems like Noobly keeps getting caught out in these side lanes. He got caught out before that mid fight in the top lane by the Nocturnal. In the bot lane here, he just walked into 3 members, not taking the safe path where he knows there's nobody. If he's able to, group with his team and ult somebody who's trying to kill his backline instead of ult to keep himself alive, these fights could go different.
Yep, certainly they could be way better if that doesn't end up happening, but the problem is how consistent or how sure can you be that it can happen. Because once, okay, but if he has to do it much more than once, then it can be really hard to be able to win through that.
Yeah. We see the Collector completed here. 4 Villain and Glasses on the Aphelios.
That is really important.
Yeah, we see the LDR itemization coming out from Tristana in the mid lane. Great pickup here for the 3 beefy members of Akuma. We see the side of Akuma. Zonia is completed here. for Zendef on the Victor. We see the QSS for the Nocturne to get out of that Death Realm, to get out of the charms from the Rakan. So itemization across the board for everybody has been pretty good this series, and execution, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, I think that itemization wise, there's always argument that you can maybe build something different in this situation, but I think, like you're saying, most have been situationally correct into what they want to try and play around and what to do. And like you're saying, it's mainly going to be execution that is going to be able to carry these teams. But I feel like right now, at this point, 25 minutes in the game, AKM has a much easier time being able to execute their composition than TAS, because TAS is not as strong as they can be with their composition. When they get to the strongest point, it would be much easier for them. But right now, AKM has everything to be able to pull it up, and if they win a fight, then they can look into the objectives and being able to push the game farther. But I think that... Oh, what?
I was going to say, Akuma's still 5k gold ahead, and we see the engage in the mid lane. We're going to see that Paranoia use onto Villain Blast. He has to flash away. The flag drag does come out from Spoozy, but no engage coming from there. Just a clean disengage coming out of Team Ambition.
Yeah, but it was flash forced out of the affiliate, so it's still a really important thing to look forward to. And in 1 minute, I think it's 50 seconds by now, the Paranoia. In 50 seconds, you can look to try and pull that off again and kill the affiliate. I think that they should try and pull it off if they can kill it, but if not, try and do it before the Drake is spawning, so that you can force the fight without actually having to lose the Drake that handily, and that way you can get a really good advantage for that Drake that is spawning soon.
Yeah, the Nocturne Galio combo into a backline is so oppressive, because you get feared into knocked up, into taunted. You just can't move. If they're able to execute it. Oh, does he get it?
He didn't get it. No,
he did not get it. Close. But yeah, like I mentioned, Team Ambition still in the driver's seat. They're up 4k, 5k here about. It really is the only thing that's keeping TA in this game is that potential threat of getting that 4th dragon to kind of make up for that gold differential.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's a fear that you can have as a game, but also thinking it around another way, even though it is a really important soul to get and can be extra stats that you realistically shouldn't get at this point of the game. If you get a really early soul, or if the soul was gotten really early, with the lead that the side of AKM had, the Elder spawning would have been awful for TAS, because if they cannot fight it and they lose that Elder, it can be way worse than just giving away a couple of Drakes.
And I don't know if Akuma wants to just give them prio here.
Yeah, Paranoia again.
Yeah, but there's the clump there.
There's no vision actually.
There's no vision for Akuma here. They have to slowly face check in with these cleavers, clear wards out, poke. But we see the engage. Ambition, 3-man knockup, 4-man cataclysm, big Imperial's ultimate. No crits landing there. We see 2 kills being picked up from the side of Akuma. Ziggs is going huge in this team fight. 3 kills going to be picked up, and it's just Noobly in the death realm with Zendef. But Zendef is going to be able to, use that zone to stay alive. 4 kills being picked up for Akuma. It's a clean fight. This dragon will be theirs, and triple kill being given over towards the Ziggs. And like I mentioned, if Ziggs is able to, get through that early game, get 1 or 2 items under his belt, he's going to be doing the most damage on the Rift, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I feel like you're talking about how the engage of TAS was really good, and that fight looked potentially good. But I think that it's the complete opposite. I feel like that fight was so horrendously bad for TAS, because we saw the engage going so effectively for the Rakan and the Jarvan, and none of the members were below 50% health. I think the only one was the Nocturne that ended up dying, but the rest realistically just run away, and then the re-engage was so easy to execute. Like, the damage from the Ziggs, like you were saying, was so huge in that fight, and he just poked and utilized the ultimate. He didn't really have to do much more in that fight, and even though the engage from TAS was close to perfect, getting 3 members in Cataclysm with the Rakan, they couldn't win that fight. And I think that's really scary, because at this point, they are still not at the strongest possible that they can be. The Aphelios is not yet at 4 items, or 3 items even for that point. And the Tristana wasn't even able to auto-attack in that fight. So I'm really scared if this keeps him... Oh, wait.
It's going to be used. There's no flash available here. You see the bomb being used by Ziggs here, and they're going to be able to pick up Aphelios. And the Leandry Burns is coming over the top, and it might be too late for Team Ambition here. This Baron has Kuma's name all over it.
Jarvan's still alive though, so maybe they are not super sure about doing it because of the Jarvan being alive. But like you're saying, it should be the Baron for AKM. Without the Aphelios, their main damage threat, it should not be that hard for the side of AKM to secure this without being afraid of a steal. Nothing more, honestly.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes the Cataclysm works negatively against them. If you're going to put yourself in maybe one of your teammates in a Cataclysm against a Ziggs Victor, there's a lot of DPS that will come out. And we saw that like the fight, the Dragon fight, where J4 and Rakan got bursted down, but this is just a little bit of a Baron dance. Poke coming over the wall from Akuma. They're trying to secure this. Will J4 be able to get another hero steal? No, he's not going to be able to go for it. He does go for it, but they're going to DPS him down.
Oh, that was so close.
Super close. Super
Yeah,
close, but Baron
luckily
secured.
Victor secured it. Yeah, could have been that could have gone either way. But the smite doesn't go in favor of the German, and I think it was really important that they were trying to slow it down as fast as much as possible so that the Jarvan has to go in at a bad time and ends up dying. So at least the idea from a game was really well. It was close as you can get, but at the end they get the Baron, they get the kills as well, and they should be able to pressure up, to keep on pressuring up. Avidius now has flash at least, which is a good sign to try and survive the first paranoia. But the paranoias from Copy have been not only really aggressive, but really good at trying to force things out of the fielders. And I think that if he keeps doing that, it should be an easy kills to get. Oh,
You know, he used again straight onto
another flash.
Flash instantly, actually. I think a CD literally just came up. And it's just siege time for the side of Akuma. They have the Ziggs. Villiers trying to DPS down here. He does use his ultimate, that Moonlight Vigil, to do some damage over the top, but not enough to dissuade the side of Akuma.
Oh,
And
the
he's
six.
gonna go down.
I think it's a kill. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go down. Leandri's burned with the demonic embrace there, able to pick up that kill for Ziggs, and this tower is surely going down with the Ziggs damage.
Six right now at this point, it's pretty much just an artillery turret firing from really far away and killing you really safely. Oh, another kill.
Used by Ziggs on the backside of that team fight. We see this stopwatch going to be used. Can he just W this tower? He's opting to save the W for a disengage if they need it. On the top side of the map, we see Zendef split pushing, nobody there to stop him. It's Kuma's map. They're taking whatever they want.
Yeah, there's no way to stop the Baron push realistically at this point. Aphelios can try and clear, but if he's too far forward, he can get destroyed by whoever will want to die. And Paranoia is close to being up again, so okay, maybe this play can go well.
Yeah, they're going to look to engage onto Zendef, but Paranoia is here. They're going to go in, and TA Spoozy goes down. TP coming up from the Olaf here. He's going to walk in, and they're going to be able to go into Noogly. Noogly uses that death rattle, but he's going to lose the fight. Ninekine picks that up with the undertow, and there's going to be an inhibitor going down here, surely, right?
Yeah, and they have a the six here. They can maybe try and look forward to keep on pushing, and it seems like they want to do this. With the six, this is a play that is viable.
Yeah, they're going to go for this, and Team Ambition have to go for broke. They're going to try and engage with the backside of the team fight. Beautiful ultimate buster shot coming out from Tristana, but there's not enough damage. And it looks like Team Ambition, Heart and Soul are going to go down. The last Nexus turret goes down. 5 members hitting the Nexus, and Akuma Shurikens will advance to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and after a first game that made me really doubtful about how Akuma could pull it off, they turn around in these two last games, going for priority in the jungle, going for engage potential, forcing plays, being much more aggressive, and it paid so much in comparison to how the first game went by. And I gotta say, this game by the six, by Akuma's AD carry, what a performance. I feel like he was the best performing member. Even though Coffee executed really well with an auction, I think that the six was fundamental in them being able to get the win.
I was touching on it so heavily in game 2 that nobody was picking the Ziggs. It wasn't picked, it was not banned. Both teams opted to go for traditional ADCs. They didn't ban away the Ziggs. But both of these ADCs play Ziggs, and Ziggs is so strong in competitive play. You don't have to do anything, just farm your wave, get 2 items, and in team fights, you just kill everything. And that's what we saw here. We saw them able to get that lead. Ziggs was able to get online, and they were able to just use the siege potential that Ziggs offers, especially with the Baron buff, to close out the game.
Yep, and they did it in such a good manner. Like, even their Baron push was so well timed because it was 4 members on one side, just using how did I call it? The siege turret that was 6 to just push the wave easily. And we saw the picture on the other side just keeping up the push really well. So overall, it was just a really great performance. Also, one thing that I want to mention a lot, in the last fight, the engage from the Rakan was so perfectly stopped by a satchel charge. And that meant that it was close to impossible to be able to do anything else. So I gotta say, overall, Akuma, great performance, playing really well. changing my expectation of the series because I thought that after the first game, Team Ambition, Heart and Soul should have won. But the second and third game, huge turnaround, really well played. And thank you for winning with Ari, even though I hate that you picked the champion because it's really bad. I'm still a huge enthusiast of the Ari, and thank you for winning with that.
That being said, we want to give our congratulations to Akuma Shurikens for advancing to quarterfinals here of Aegis Protectors League, and thank you to Team Ambition Heart and Soul for competing. They have sadly been eliminated, but they still have their Aegis Guardians League roster competing in playoffs here. I believe they're on stream tomorrow, actually, if I'm not wrong. So make sure to tune in tomorrow to see them compete. With that being said, we're going to end the stream for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate everything you guys do behind the scenes. Thank you to Quantum Production. Thank you for joining me, TDS, and enjoy the rest of your night, folks.
Shout out Maiko, happy birthday.